we present the news quiz with your host, Nish Kumar.
Hello and welcome to the news quiz. We start with something from a birdwatchers magazine in the USA, read by Alan Smith.
The Nature Reserve sent staff members to guard the bird colony during the day, but when they left overnight, an intruder landed and poached all of the eggs.
Thanks to Richard Breddy in Philadelphia for sending that in. Now, let's meet the teams. Will you welcome first, on my right, Andy Zaltzman and Susie Ruffle. And opposite them, on my left, Director of the UK to Changing Europe, Professor Anand Madan and Jeff Norcott. Question 1. Andy, what is completely done and it's all gone great and it's finished and we never have to talk about it again?
Evolution?
In a way, you're right. The logical endpoint of evolution.
Yes, all civilization has come to an end. This, of course, Nish, is Brexit Day. I mean, this is very much the first day of the rest of our lives, as indeed are all days. But it does feel like this is a particularly important milestone that we are passing as a country. And, we need to, I think, start looking for the positives, Nish, and I think, because we're often wrong about these things. I mean, often the silver lining turns out to be made of asbestos, and the cloud is a watermelon. So, I mean, I think we've learned a lot as a nation. We've learned how difficult compromise is. We're split as a nation, essentially. A quarter of people wanted to leave, a quarter of people wanted to stay, and then about half didn't know, didn't care, weren't allowed, or were stupid enough not to have come out of the womb in time. So, and I think
if they really cared, they would have crawled out themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. It's time these people started taking responsibility. And I think we all know how difficult compromise is. I think we've seen this. We're still hugely divided as a nation, and we all know how particularly if you're a parent, you know how difficult compromise. Say if you're a parent and you have twins, and you have one twin that really likes cricket and another twin that really likes platypuses, and you come up with a compromised birthday treat that involves taking them to see someone whack a platypus with a cricket bat, then you're going to end up with some two disappointed children. And some understandably hostile media coverage. So,
if I've not said it before, you are one of the great parents of our age.
The empirical research for that joke was extremely difficult indeed, particularly as I don't have twins. But also, I mean, the country's changed. The language has changed. I mean, this just came out officially today. It's the official Oxford Brexicon with all the language of Brexit that we need to know, because there's some new terms. Obviously, Brexit itself was a new term. Brexistential crisis that we've been going through as a nation. Your Brex wife or Brex husband, that's the spouse you've not had a coherent conversation with for the last 3.5 years because they spend all their time shouting "you absolute bastards" at the television, and that is a joke that works equally well for both sides. Let me emphasise that. Brexpectorate is the coating of spittle on your TV screen after Michael Gove has been on the news. In mathematics, dy by dbrex, which in Brexit calculus is mathematically working out the unexpected derivatives of Brexit by asking why, and the result gives you the current rate of national decline. This is why I'm never on the telly. Then abstract Brexpressionism, that's a political art form in which you can say or do anything and then claim it is in fact Brexit. And Brextrasensory perception is the ability to notice benefits of Brexit that other people and the vast majority of economists simply cannot see. So all these new terms that we're learning.
Look, right, we've started with some absolute Ramona bias. So, Jeff. Balance this up.
I just want to say...
It's a big day for you, right?
It's a big day, and I know this show goes out to a lot of people, and I want to make conciliatory notes. I absolutely wasn't doing the fist pumps there. Look, I think that, I'm not necessarily going to have a party about it because it feels like a weird thing to have a party for. And actually, weirdly, the people that are in the best position to have parties are the Remainers that stockpiled, you know? They got all the food, they got all the drugs. And you know what? Europe has still got its claws in us. When do we have to leave? Not at midnight, but 11, because Brussels said. So... I think this is potentially dangerous. 11 o'clock is chucking out time from pubs. That is madness. If anywhere in the country there's a Wetherspoons next to, like, Le Pan Quotidien, this could kick off. This could completely kick off. He's fought his friend.
And just to be clear, you're in the Wetherspoons, yeah?
I think by inference, I'm in Le Pan Quotidien, which in this analogy seems to have some sort of a late licence. I love a post 10:30 p.m. croissant.
I don't have lattes. I have a milky coffee, and that's what we're going back to.
We're putting milk in our coffee, and I'm changing my name to Nick Cooper.
I know that a lot of Remainers will say that, I almost said Ramonas there, will say with some justification that we're not at, nothing really changes. But if we're honest, this is the money shot, isn't it? This is like, the bit on like a property show when they put in the offer and they go, yay, we're definitely going to have this house. But that's where they end the show, isn't it? They're not going to do, like, Phil and Kirsty aren't going to do the bit where they get the solicitor's searches back, are they? No one is watching this show. And I just end my few points here with one just a question. Where is Jacob Rees-Mogg? Did we dream him? Because he was instrumental all the way. I ain't seen the geezer.
And I think he's laughing all the way to the bank.
Susie, how will you be celebrating?
Oh, I'm so bored of it.
At last, someone actually articulated what the country thinks.
I can't wait to do comedy and not have to talk about Brexit. I think most people have lost interest now. I think people that were like bang up for it, people that weren't bang up for it. I'm from Portsmouth. That's the two ways you go: bang up for it or not bang up for it.
I think it would have increased turnout if those had been the options.
Are you bang up for it? Get in this queue. It's like the final episode of Lost. Do you remember everyone was into Lost for a bit and then no one knew what happened at the end? That's what it's like. That's how I feel. And then just when you feel like you can't be like any more depressed about the fact that it's all happening, you've got to watch Nigel Farage with a little flag. I mean, literally, I've never been more embarrassed to be English. Like,
this is the scene in the European Parliament when he was waving the flags.
So they all sang Auld Lang Syne, which was sort of quite sweet. No one really knew the words, but we never do we? So you can't judge him for that. And then he stood up and waved a little flag. And I mean, even people that are really pro-Brexit must have been like, oh no. Oh no, why has the frogman got a flag?
Ironically, that's what he says about the head of the European Commission. But Anand, you are a recognised Brexpert.
Yeah, no, that's a good word, like that. That's probably in the book.
One question for you. Have we got Brexit done? I feel like it feels like we should probably be asking, is it done?
Sort of, are we there yet?
Yeah.
Nearly.
Okay, what have we got left to do?
Well, we need to completely reformulate our country. Mm-hmm. We need to negotiate the biggest trade deal ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to negotiate a load more trade deals as well.
Easy peasy.
And my teammate says it's going to be really easy.
It'll be done by this evening. You lot struggle with optimism. That's your problem. It'll be all right, though, won't it?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Let's just be happy today. Let's just enjoy it. But like Susie says, those images and like one of the things that has happened is like the Leave and Remain sides have been kind of corralled into the most sort of toxic. And most people don't give that much of a shit. Do you know what I mean? That is, most people leaned one way or the other. I mean, an unpopular opinion as well. I feel sorry for Theresa May. I do, because she, and a lot of women will know this problem, she did a lot of the work on this. And I know I've got Nish and Andy, and I don't know the other panel feel about cricket, but she did the hard opening. She opened, right? She got hit on the helmet. That was a weird choice of phrase, but... and then Boris comes in and slogs a 50 after tea. But look,
she got hit in the helmet by someone in her own team. But I do think I don't think it's going to be the catastrophe that's been, because history has dealt us a pretty sweet hand in Britain. I mean, admittedly, we absolutely loaded the pack in our favour and paid off the dealer. But we really should be able to make a go of this. I mean, I've taken back control because I'm trying to get on board. I've taken back control of the news. I now, because I get very annoyed by the news, so I now just print off my own headlines. So wild joy on streets as Britain signs £364 billion trade deal with Bolivia. Take back control. We live in a world of perception. Government claims nice people will benefit most from agreement to sell gherkins, trampolines, mermaids and warships to landlocked South American nations. Health Secretary Matt Hancock announces building of 1,250 brand new hospitals. Hancock explained, we've decided not to drop atomic bombs on any of the hospitals that already exist, so that's in effect the same as building new ones, isn't it? And if Brexit was a giant lemon, I'd still put my cock in it, screams Johnson at unveiling of new 100-metre statue of himself. Take back control.
I sort of become aware of slight irony here. I got an expert here and I sort of butted in, didn't I? Apologies for that. But
It's not like someone in the Leave campaign to yell over an expert, Jeff.
Well, fair enough. See, you got to be magnanimous in victory. I'll take that one.
So, Arnon, just walk us through what has to happen next. So, tonight we go into a sort of transition period that lasts until December. What's the first priority for Boris Johnson with Brexit now?
To stop talking about it. You're not allowed to talk about it anymore. He's told his government the word will be banned inside government from tomorrow morning. So you won't hear the word again from him.
What? So it's like Fight Club?
But it's a bit like that, yes. But meanwhile, there will be, I think, at the last count, 30,000 civil servants working on it. Right. So we won't be talking about it, but we won't be doing anything else at the same time, which would be interesting.
And what are the red lines here now? When does stuff have to be done by?
By the 31st of December, we have to have an agreement with the Europe. I don't understand how people can find this boring. I mean, it's like, you've got to imagine that this country is like a cage with laboratory rats in it, and it's a natural experiment. For people like me, what happens if you stop trading with your nearest trading partner? We get to find out. What happens if you stop people being able to come here and work? We're going to find it. It's brilliant. It is like the most exciting natural experiment ever. So I love it. I'm fascinated by it. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Basically, what you're saying is, as a nation, we've been left alone, naked in an empty room,
and it'll be interesting to see how we react.
Yes. Exactly which of the electoral sockets that we stick on.
That kind of thing. Yeah. And we'll write papers about it.
Yeah. The coin I'm very excited about.
Oh, yes.
I thought this was a nice conciliatory gesture, because we've heard a lot of talk about building bridges and bringing the country back together, and I thought that the 50p coin was a lovely touching gesture with the words peace, prosperity and friendship with all nations and today's date on it. It was a charming memento of what we've enjoyed for the past 47 years. So, lovely gesture. The date of death on it as well. Lovely.
I mean, I think we had to. You were good. We had a coin when we joined the EEC as it was then, and I think that it's right that we should commemorate it. I just don't think a 50p is that ambitious. No, it's no one's favourite coin, is it? I mean, £2 coins. That's a coin, right? It's got two metals going on. They still seem like a novelty factor for me. You just. I love
the idea of you get a £2 coin and going, ooh.
Doesn't everybody else feel this way about £2?
Yeah, far be it from me to build bridges across our nation's divide, but I agree with Jeff. Every time I see a £2 coin, I'm always like, that is crazy.
It's a quality coin.
That's two of the £1 coins. What a world.
I think as a leaver, shouldn't you want a sovereign?
Yes.
I think they chose...
This is bullying.
This is the news that the UK will officially leave the European Union at 11 p.m. tonight, or yesterday if you're listening to this on Saturday, or in the mystical age of fruit, vegetables and insulin if you're listening on, I don't know, Wednesday. As the UK's withdrawal was officially passed in the European Parliament, some MEPs burst into a rendition of Auld Lang Syne. And what song could be more appropriate than one British people launch into with no idea of what it means, how it ends, and is usually instigated by a bloke with a pint in his hand? The moment we leave will be televised live on BBC One, while on BBC Two will be Jules Holland's Brexit hootenanny. Holland's behind the piano on the deck of a fishing trawler as Wetherspoon CEO Tim Martin screams the hits of Vera Lynn into the face of a line-caught British turbot. As we're recording this before the actual Brexit moment, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I think we'll all feel cheated if Mark Francois doesn't attempt to fly a Spitfire through the London Eye. 2 points to Andy. Susie, who's been flying to flee the flu?
This is about the coronavirus, which is causing an ongoing health emergency in China and now potentially the rest of the world. In fact, there's been a couple of confirmed cases in the UK today, so we're going to have to see how that pans out. Now, I'm not going to make cheap jokes about this because A, more than 150 people have died, and B, most of the best gags have already been done. If I was a lesser comedian, I might say coronavirus, that sounds like something you'd wake up with after a big night at Oaxaca. Or have they tried putting a bit of lime on it? But I'm better than that. And Chinese authorities have begun construction on a brand new 1,000-bed hospital. They've planned to have it finished within a week, which is incredible and really puts into perspective how slow British builders are. I've got to say, though, I do worry about panic building a hospital. I panic revised for my GCSEs. I thought I could do it in a week. It can be done, but the results will not be great. Also, over 6,000 people are trapped on a cruise ship because one of the passengers is suspected to have the virus. Jane McDonald's having to put in an absolute shift. Really must be into the back catalogue by now. If it lasts another week, she's going to have to do Agadoo.
Jeff, are you concerned about the coronavirus?
Well, they said it had started in a market where they sold camel meat and koala. And I know that it's a global pandemic, but I was going, koala meat? I wonder what that tastes like. You know what I mean? That tastes minty, you know?
It doesn't seem like instinctively like it would be the nicest meat.
I think it'll be like sort of a duck. I should be thinking about the danger. But the good thing is that the professor in charge is a bloke called Larry Brilliant. And genuinely, I think that's a lot of pressure in meetings, isn't it? And there's also a lot of scope for people to sound sarcastic. But they say, "So, Professor Brilliant, what's your plan?"
Arnold, when these kind of things happen, I mean, obviously, no one's minimising the risk posed by the virus, but there is an extent to which the media does sort of whip up a hysteria. It is weird how much journalists seem to enjoy covering outbreaks of viruses.
Well, I mean, there's something quite appealing to the "we're all going to die" headline, I think. So you can... I mean, there's two things about this that struck me. Firstly, I mean, I knew the Prime Minister was not a great fan of Liverpool, but... And the second thing is, can't we just get them to build HS2 when they finish the hospital?
They know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing. Andy, you worried about the coronavirus?
Not at all. Because, well, A, we're all just dust in the wind of history anyway. And
I thought it was weird when you wrote that on my birthday card last year.
just bringing a healthy dose of realism, Nish. But also, I'm not worried about it because I take my health tips from Gwyneth Paltrow's. Every morning for the last week, I've sat firmly on an aubergine, and I'm now immune. So, I didn't trust the official advice. Wash your hands thoroughly cook meat and eggs, avoid unprotected contact with live, wild or farm animals, do not covet thy neighbour's ox, no running, diving, bombing or heavy petting. And I should emphasise, avoid unprotected contact with live, wild or farm animals. So for any concerned former Prime Ministers listening...
Well, it's good stuff. These are the flights evacuating foreign citizens out of Wuhan in China, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreaks. Britons will be placed in quarantine for 14 days on their return, which will both safeguard the British public and also make for some cracking reality TV. Imagine Love Island, but less bathing suit and more hazmat suits. Experts have confirmed that the virus is transmitted human to human, as opposed to the more common means of viral infection, sexy-ass monkeys. In response to the crisis, Starbucks has closed 2,000 of its Chinese branches after reports of a flat white turned out to be an extremely ill tourist. And meanwhile, the first cases of coronavirus have been confirmed in the UK. It's actually part of a new post-Brexit trade deal. We get coronavirus, and in return, we're sending them good old British gout. 2 points to Susie. And at the end of round one, the scores are Andy and Susie 4 and Anand and Jeff 4. We start round two with a cutting from ABC Online News in Australia.
Authorities have removed a rogue wombat from a Tasmanian suburb following 12 months of home invasions. Sleeping residents have regularly heard rustling noises and have been greeted by a wombat coming up their passage.
Thanks to Caroline Stenier from Berwick in Australia for sending us that. Anand, who might have put us on a Huawei to hell?
Well, this is the story that Huawei,
Yeah.
the Chinese phone maker, are being allowed to build a bit of our 5G network.
Yeah.
And they're being allowed to build it despite the fact that the Americans hate the idea and think it's a security threat, and parts of our government hate the idea. I've got to the problem with me talking about this is, one, I don't understand the story at all.
Well, that's never stopped anyone on the news quiz, mate.
I don't know how. I have a vague sense that the bigger the number in front of the G, the easier it is to stream sport on your phone. So so that's good. On the other hand, I'm starting to get a bit worried because Dominic Raab, who remarkably enough is our Foreign Secretary, one of the things about politics these days is you have to say things twice a lot in case you got it wrong. Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary, said the following: "We know more about Huawei and the risks they pose than any other country." And I think he's forgetting a country here.
Jeff, you worried about Huawei taking over our 5Gs?
Well, I think it's a bit worrying. How can we guarantee the security of something not many of us can pronounce yet? It's astonishing. It can sound both simultaneously Chinese, Spanish and Geordie, right? That's sort of Huawei. This is a strange... I was just doing a little few notes. I think I've spelt it 5 different times today already, different ways. Look, it's all about the 5G now, isn't it? I remember when 1G was enough. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got carried away with the G thing. It's like blades on a razor, isn't it? Maybe we'll just go back to one really good G at one point and go, you know what? You can't beat that. But yeah, I think maybe this is one of the compromises, as we find ourselves seeking new trade deals, is that you go, well, the US aren't happy with this, so we might need to compromise. So we might end up having chlorinated chicken. But you go, you know what, this chicken does taste like a swimming pool, but equally, I'm getting full signal at the back of the house. So swings and roundabouts.
Susie, are you concerned about possible Chinese governmental interference in Huawei and what that means for our 5G network?
Well, Mum is. My mum is. She's worried because she read about the spying.
Right.
She was like, Suze, is someone going to be spying on my phone? And I thought, no one really cares about you and Cara talking about HRT. That's not what they're there for.
Zoltor, how are you feeling about...
Well, it's just got eerie echoes of the 19th century Prussian carrier pigeon scandal, hasn't it? We'll never learn our lessons.
Talk us through it.
We're all with you. Go on, mate. Yep. That was on the tip of my tongue as well.
We just don't learn our lessons. Other countries have key parts of our... this is the last time we're going to have to make this, because clearly 5G, that's basically... 5G is the sort of technology that in simpler, happier times would instantly lead to the people who invented it being dunked in a pond or set on fire. It is definitely witchcraft. It's not science, it's witchcraft, and the sooner we wake up to that fact, the better. So the last time we'll have to make this kind of decision, because It is incredibly fast, 5G, and 6G will be faster than time. So by the time we have to make a decision on it, it will already have been installed. So this is the last time these difficult things are going to have to be... I mean, I think personally with Brexit it's a shame we're not getting a British artisan handcrafted boutique mobile internet infrastructure. Such is the global market. And it is slightly concerning that the government described Huawei as a high-risk vendor, the unlicensed late-night kebab van. But, you know, again, we tend to get paranoid about these things, and the government's official policy is, yeah, it's probably going to be okay. And, you know, let's look at the statistics. Statistically, most mountaineers do make it down safely from Mount Everest, so what are we worrying about?
This is the news that the UK will let Huawei be a part of its 5G mobile networks, but with significant restrictions. So a bit like anyone on Vodafone. 5G technology means other phone providers are also terrible. But 5G technology means that your home could soon be fully smart and connected. Your phone connected to the heating, your lights connected to the fridge, and your salad crisper drawer connected to a monitoring station in Guangzhou. One spokesman called the company the John Lewis of China, which is either a reference to the fact that Huawei is owned in part by its employees, or that John Lewis is a hostile state actor involved in the large-scale surveillance of foreign powers. Now, which company's Christmas ad featured a dragon seeking to gain entry into someone's home? It wasn't Huawei, I'll say that much. Although Huawei did actually have a John Lewis-style Christmas ad, it was a lonely old man on the moon with a telescope trained on Tibet. That's 2-1. Jeffrey, whose plan is a real piece of work?
Right, so this is Donald Trump's Middle East peace plan, and hot take here, I don't think it's going to bring peace to the Middle East.
What?
I'm just setting the
This is
the tone
classic
of this.
liberal bias, Jeff.
I know. I wanted to think it was, but it's just not. I mean, this deal seems to favour Israel in the same way that Labour seem to favour male leaders. But there's, it's true. And the Palestinians, they didn't take it massively well. They announced a day of rage. Yeah, you hear that? Extinction Rebellion, right? They're not just gluing themselves to a tram. They're having a day of rage. And I'm glad that they just went for a day of rage, because when you're planning rage, sometimes you sort of think, should we do a whole weekend? And you go, you know what? But by the end of the first day of rage, you go, no, actually, that felt like enough. And, you know, I feel, you know, in fairness to Trump, in fairness to Donald J. Trump, he's not the first person to come a cropper over the Middle East. And let's be honest, Radio 4 audience, you're sort of pleased, aren't you? Because what would it said about this generation after 2,000 years of conflict, of one of the most intractable problems in human history, if Donald Trump had been the one that sorted it out?
Anand, what do you reckon of the peace plan?
I think it just illustrates why we don't need satire anymore.
Oh, thanks a lot, mate.
I'm sorry.
Jesus. I've got to pay my rent.
I mean, I'll still have a job, the rest of you.
So you think too much, right? I mean,
yeah, quite funny, but seriously.
Yeah. It's a bold move to negotiate a peace deal without one of the two people involved. It's perhaps an even bolder move to send your wildly underqualified son-in-law to do the entire thing, because Jared Kushner is the sort of architect of the plan. And I think it's given Boris Johnson some ideas. Like, I think he would have put one of his kids in charge of Brexit negotiations if only he had one of their phone numbers. But
I mean, maybe that's the answer. He puts one of them in charge of Palestine.
he puts one of them in
That's not the sort of thing you get a son-in-law doing, is it? You get a son-in-law to pick you up from the airport. You know? You pressure him into paying for dinner because he's intimidated by you. You don't go, you know what, you're a good lad, off you go to Jerusalem.
Suze, what do you think?
I mean, he's not the best person to be advising other countries on borders. I mean, his wall has literally just fallen down. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I have quite a lot of trouble understanding all of this. And I mean, he must. I mean, he's got trouble turning off caps on his phone. And I'm not ashamed to say this, I've probably got the lowest IQ on the panel today. And so because of that, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay out of the Middle East peace process. I'm going to stay out of it.
Well, into the breach steps Andrew Zaltzman. Solve the Middle East peace process for us right now.
Full disclosure, Nish, I am Jewish. So I can explain the situation for those who don't understand it as well as I do. 6,000 years ago, God promised it to us, case closed. All about communication.
Okay, cool.
The prosecution calls God to the witness.
I mean, this is part of the problem. He has been eerily silent on the topic for almost 2,000 years now.
He's got a lot on.
He has got a lot on. Yada, yada, yada. He used to be full of it. But, a lot of problems. But yeah, I mean, understandably, the Palestinians have been a little bit wary of a deal struck by A, a leader facing legal proceedings for being a crook, and B, another leader facing legal proceedings for being a crook. And clearly it's playing well in America. This is what the disenfranchised Rust Belt voters in America have been crying out for. But having Trump dealing with this, I mean, it is, I'm a little uneasy about this. And Donald Trump, as Simon and Garfunkel famously sang, is like a crocodile dive bombing into troubled waters. And having Trump attempting to solve an issue of such historical complexity, such political delicacy, that's about as reassuring as hearing that Hannibal Lecter has been appointed head chef at your children's primary school. It's hard to see how it's happened, and I mean, he might fluke it, but...
It does make you think that this is what real conflict looks like. Do you know what I mean? You think about the whole Brexit thing. As far as I know, none of my Remainer mates have attempted to bulldoze my house.
We have. We just couldn't get there in time.
This is Donald Trump's Middle East peace plan, which would place Jerusalem under complete Israeli control, give land in the West Bank to Israel, and compensate the Palestinians with land in the desert. And like all successful peace plans, it immediately resulted in a full-scale riot. In essence, Donald Trump is able to call this a peace plan using the same logic that allows him to call whatever's on top of his head hair. Under the plan, high-speed rail would be built in Palestine, cutting journey times to Birmingham by up to 20 minutes. Trump has called the peace plan the deal of the century, but Asda are currently doing 2-for-1 on wagon wheels. And listen, I'm no Martin money-saving expert, but that looks better to me than surrendering loads of land in return for jack all. Netanyahu has described Trump as the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House, which is pretty amazing, given that includes the Mossad agent inside the Melania costume. This is a question for everyone, so fingers on the buzzers, which we don't have. Who is back on the gravy train?
Buzz!
Andy's either buzzing or he's just killed a couple of ants.
Cambridge, Zaltzman.
Jeff, how dare you categorise Andy, just because of his political views, as having gone to Cambridge? Where did you go to university, Andy?
I went to the University of Life. I was expelled after 2 weeks after failing all the initial exams and had to go to Oxford instead.
Zaltzman, Oxford.
The gravy train is, well, all of us, we're all on the gravy train after Brexit. It's going to be gravy, gravy, gravy. And also this is a story about a granny who had kept her life savings in some Bisto tins, which were carelessly thrown away by her family and then recovered in a municipal rubbish dump. And it turns out that putting your money inside gravy tins is considerably more reliable than many banks, building societies. And again, it shows the generational divide, because younger people, millennials, wouldn't do that. They'd shove them all in a vegan, ethical, fair trade, dolphin-friendly asparagus stock powder tin. Just different ways of living, isn't it? I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. It's just a fact.
It was £20,000.
Who's chucking away gravy tins without looking in them first? There might be gravy in there. Also, I like to think that she misunderstood when someone said you've got to put your money in stocks.
Absolutely, without any hesitation, 2 bonus points to Susie Raff. Yeah, big story, right? Granny put 20 grand in gravy tins.
Yeah. Cool.
They found them, they basically had to go to the dump.
Yeah, but they got these 2 guys that worked there. It was 2 men that worked at the recycling plant or dump, whatever it was, looked for them for hours, looked for these tins, while the family watched on crying. You're like, these 2 fellas are looking through old tuna tins because you've chucked away the money you're going to get when your mum dies. Come on.
Fair play.
No, I didn't like that. Fair enough.
I mean, it's heartwarming though, isn't it? That they gave back all 5. you know? Once they found out what was going on, I would have gone, well, love, you know, we did the best we could. We found 3. You did find 3. And in unrelated news, I've retired from the tip. So, on you go.
The thing about this story, this is the thing, to stop thinking about this. My mum, in her kitchen, has loads, you'll know this, Nish, those tiffin tins.
Yeah.
Far more than she needs for food. And I'm suddenly thinking, the next time I get... they're probably stuffed with cash.
Let's rob your mum!
Exactly.
There's a lot more positive than my usual experience of the recycling centre. I just feel guilty when I go there. I'm trying to save the planet, mate. Stop staring me out.
You know they put it in if you put it in a green box, they come and pick it up.
That's why they're staring.
Anand, you're an academic. Is putting your money in gravy tins the safest way of investing in post-Brexit Britain?
I thought you were going to say...
Only if you don't throw them away.
Sorry, Susie.
I thought you were going to say you're an expert. Is recycling worth it? Tell everyone, because we're all doing it. But while we're doing it, we're thinking, I don't think everyone's doing it. And if they haven't washed up their tins, there's no point in me washing up my tins. So, just me, fair enough.
It is the best way of saving post-Brexit, Nish. And you get that gravy and you pour it all over Brussels, mate. For the 17.4.
In the interest of BBC balance, I will also be giving Jeff Norcott 1 bonus point.
You gave them 2.
Yeah, I know, but someone's got to win. I don't mean to blow the illusion of this.
The zero-sum game, listen.
This is a quiz in the same way it's a Middle East peace plan. Yes, this is the heartwarming story of a pensioner who stashed her life savings in 5 gravy tins which were accidentally thrown out by her family. Luckily, workers at the local recycling centre were able to find them and return the money to its rightful owner. It was a heartwarming scene as the tins and cash were happily returned and the old woman was arrested for her part in the Hatton Garden jewellery heist. The grandmother was delighted to receive the money back, saying it just wasn't the same, hoofing nose loads of cocaine with a tenner that didn't smell like beef. Recycling centre workers are said to be disappointed. The notes turned out to be cash and not golden tickets winning them a trip round Billy Bistow's hot gravy factory, complete with a gravy river, a never-ending suckable stock cube and a child floating away after becoming dangerously inflated with stuffing. This scare story just makes me glad that I keep my gravy in my wallet. 2 points to everyone! Before we reveal the final scores, has anybody got a cutting they'd like to share? Andy?
This comes from Alan Dean. The SA-1 electric plane, to be produced by Hyundai, is the latest attempt to wean air travel off fossil fuels via electric propulsion. But all electric aviation technology has been slow to get off the ground. Oh, yeah.
Susie?
This is from Colin Mark in Canada. He saw this in a local newspaper article. 2 men have been shot dead, and although no arrests have been made yet, police suspect criminals were behind the shooting.
Arnold?
James McNeil from Warrington saw this tweet from the San Miguel County Sheriff in Colorado. The eastbound lane of Highway 145 is currently blocked by a large boulder the size of a small boulder.
Jeff?
So this is a listing for tonight, the 31st of January, the day that Britain leaves the EU on ITV. 10 p.m, Brexit Live, an ITV news special. 11:35, Cold Feet.
Thank you. Now, let's take a look at the final scores. Arden and Jeff have 6 points, but this week's winners are Andy and Susie with 7 points!
Sorry, I want a second referendum. I don't feel like Nish knew what he was scoring there. I think, there are some people that weren't alive when this quiz started, so...
Jeff, you lost. Get over it. Before we leave you, here's a customer review of some Weed Killer, seen by Ken Cumberledge in Norfolk.
Thank you for the prompt delivery of a further supply of Simply Gone. This has been the most effective treatment I've used for eliminating and controlling moss and algae. So much so that I've been using it for family and friends as well.
before we go, we couldn't leave you without special mention for our friend and Radio 4 comedy legend Nicholas Parsons, who died this week. As well as the world-renowned Just a Minute, Nicholas presented Listen to This Space in the late 60s, which was an early forerunner of the news quiz and yet another part of his incredible legacy. A kind and generous man who brought laughter to millions of people, young and old. We salute him. See you next week. Goodbye.
Taking part in the News Quiz Extra were Andy Zaltzman, Susie Ruffle, Anna Brennan and Jeff Norcott. In the chair was Nish Kumar and the news was read by me, Alan Smith. The chair's script was written by Catherine Brinkworth, Max Davis and Benjamin Partridge, with additional material by Simon Alcott and Alex Keeley. The producer was Richard Morris and it was a BBC Studios production.
Hello, I am Andy Zaltzman, and I have a question for you. A brand new series of which quiz about the news began 8 seconds ago? I'm going to have to hurry you. No one? Well, the correct answer is the news quiz. Well done to everyone at home who got that one right. It's better than our live audience joining us through the wonders of the internet. So welcome to the news quiz. I'm Andy Zaltzman, and what I say goes. Nowhere in particular most of the time. We left the last series of the news quiz in February on a bit of a cliffhanger. Would everything in the news be sorted out in the next few weeks? And I can exclusively reveal no. So we're back. We are back. The news quiz is still needed. Joining me this week, we have on Team Easing Back to Normal, Lucy Porter and Daliso Shaponda. And taking on Team Easing Back to Normal, it's Team Sleazing Back to Normal, who are Hugo Rifkind and Susie McCabe. This is our first question of the series. Who texted whom to ask for what? And let's start with Team Sleaze on this one, appropriately.
So, I think David Cameron texted Rishi Sunak to say, I've just woken up in the desert wearing a suit. Dude, what the hell did we do last night?
It's basically correct.
I actually think this is my favorite story of the week. There is a government worker in northeastern China who was being harassed by text messages and so whacked the person with a mop. They whacked their boss with a mop, which you would hope happens every time someone sends you dodgy text messages.
So you're saying that's what Rishi Sunak should have done to David
That's
Cameron?
what Rishi
Gone
Sunak
at him with a mop. Lucy, I know you're a massive fan of government sleaze, so you must have been very excited by this story.
I kind of am. I mean, it's sort of, Tory sleaze, it's like going back to the 90s, isn't it? We're going to have Britpop back. And sexy, charismatic figures like David Mellor and Edwina Curry. I can't wait. Bring it on.
It's basically everything he said that Britain absolutely had to not do anymore when he was Prime Minister, he then went on to do. Pretty much everything. There was the kind of, we absolutely mustn't start another war in the Middle East. Oops. There was, I believe it would be catastrophic if Britain leaves the European Union. Oh, what for gone and done. And then there was he actually said the next scandal in British politics is lobbying. And it's like, oh, butterfingers. I mean, actually, he was wrong, because there have been about another 8 since then. And I think it now behoves us all to go trawling back to look for other things David Cameron said mustn't happen. Because they will. They will. All of them. Everyone.
So not to be competitive, as an African, I think this is a very low level of corruption. It's very pathetic. What amounts to getting British outrage. The man works for this company and he starts lobbying. Now, if I hired an ex-prime minister and they refused to use their connections, I would fire them.
There was a bit of me that was thinking, when I first heard this story, I really hope he's working for the T-shirt manufacturer in Turkey who made all the PPE for the start of the pandemic. He's just saying to Matt Hancock, you know those fake Lacoste aprons and ventilators? Is there any chance you could pay the guy that made them?
I mean, 'cause we like to think in Britain we have cronyism and corruption largely under control, and that's because very cleverly we've basically legalised it with things like the House of Lords and the first past the post system that basically gives a disproportionate amount of seats to some parties that in other more corrupt countries would cost an absolute under the table fortune. So,
The secret to all of this is loopholes, right? It's loopholes in the law. Like, 'cause what Cameron wasn't allowed to do was be a paid lobbyist for any sort of company. So what he did instead was work for the company and, oh, look, I've done some lobbying. It's completely different. It's a completely different thing. And so recently, in the last couple of days, it turns out it wasn't just him who was working for Greensill, this company. It was other people at the heart of government. There was a senior civil servant, I think Bill Crothers, who was working, it turns out, not only for the civil service, but also for Greensill at the same time, which meant when he left the civil service and kept on working for Greensill, he didn't need to declare that he'd gone to work for Greensill because he was already working for Greensill, which is, it's a bit like if you're like walking towards the exit of a shop with a T-shirt in your hand and a security guard says, are you going to steal that? And you can say, absolutely not, and be telling the truth because you've got another one in your bag.
I mean, they do, because we've even got a word for it. We're so used to it. They call it the chumocracy, don't they? Which is sort of the chumocracy. And given that most people in government went to the best possible schools, it's not just a chumocracy, it's a pedigree chumocracy.
I mean, when it comes to lobbying, there's calls for an official inquiry. The government said there will be a report. I mean, essentially, when the government says there's going to be a report, that's the flowers from the petrol station stage. They know they've done something wrong, but they don't want to fully admit it yet. But for those of you not familiar with lobbying, I'll give you a quick rundown on what lobbying is. I mean, of course, hashtag not all lobbying, but also hashtag still quite a lot of lobbying. For those unfamiliar with it, lobbying is very much like protesting, but indoors instead of outdoors. Instead of shouting so everyone hears, you whisper so no one hears. And instead of waving a placard, you wave a suitcase of £20 notes. And instead of getting kettled by the police, you get behind-the-scenes influence with the cabinet and probably a New Year's honour. So they're quite different. And the other major difference is one works and the other doesn't.
I don't know if I'm just morally great. You didn't describe anything wrong to me right there. I was just like, this is a very efficient way to get things done.
In terms of official inquiry, what else would you like to see official inquiries into at the moment?
Oh, the plot of Line of Duty. I'd like to know what's going on there. That's got well out of hand. Someone needs to answer for that. What else? Maybe we could have whether we should have Christmas again once it gets warm, because it didn't really happen last time.
Call a snap Christmas.
Call a snap Christmas. Yeah, maybe in July. That'd be good.
Yes, this is the story of the Greensill schmozzle, and a promising sign of a return to pre-COVID normality. We've at last had some news about a high-ranking politician in a sleazy lobbying scandal rather than merely COVID. So that's something to cling to. David Cameron, the former Prime Minister, proved once again that he still has the anti-Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to something that is considerably less shiny and considerably less fragrant than gold. And this week it was also revealed that top civil servant Bill Crothers joined Greensill Capital as an advisor while still working for the government. See, it's not just 0 hours workers who have to take on multiple jobs to make ends meet. It's top civil servants and millionaire financial advisors as well. And as they say, I guess, civil servants are like stomach bacteria. If you find out their names, it's generally a sign that something indigestible is happening. So that is 2 points to Team Sleaze, plus an extra 2 points for asking for more points before the show and paying me a bit of extra money, so that's 4 points. Let's move on now to question 2, and this goes to Team Ease. Which BBC TV ratings smash hit sparked a record number of complaints, which in turn sparked further complaints about those complaints?
Could the answer not be any show, because the British national pastime is complaining and everything gets complaints. In fact, as I'm speaking now, somebody is complaining about the news quiz. There's everything, and it's a feedback loop, because then people complain about the complaining How is this a question? You complain about everything.
But we do, Delisa, but not normally to people's faces. That's So, yeah, the people complained that the coverage of the Duke of Edinburgh's death was excessive. But it is the most BBC thing ever, isn't it? Responding to complaints about their coverage. I mean, the only thing more BBC is the fact that we are now doing a round on a topical quiz about the complaints. The thing I really enjoyed about the coverage was the gear change when they had to go back to normal programming. So that, like the football, they kind of had to say at the beginning that, you know, the Duke had been a great fan of the game. And then they were really stretching it on like Saturday Kitchen. They were kind of like, well, and he very much enjoyed eating food. I can only imagine the producers of Top Gear must have had some very difficult conversations.
I think last week with the coverage, it did sum up the British kind of psyche, didn't it? Because for me, see when an event like this happens, like the whole of Scotland at midday last Friday, for that midday to 1 o'clock went, oh, that's a shame. And then we realised it took over the TV and radio and we thought, oh, this is like the World Cup when we don't qualify.
I did once meet the Duke of Edinburgh because I am from Edinburgh and he was my Duke. I don't know if you have a good Duke yourself. But no, I met him once at a garden party in Edinburgh. Of course I did. It was at the Palace. These things happen. And he asked me what school I went to, and I told him, and he said, "Is that the one with the bullying scandal?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, yours, you just bully people and get away with it." And then he went off to insult the next person. And I just thought, it's sort of amazing that he was prepared to give everybody that much time so that everybody he met had the chance of being slightly offended. Everybody. And there was a real sort of care and attention that he paid to all the people. I thought it was wonderful.
Do you know what I love about Hugo's answers in this is that he's out-Hugo'd himself, right?
Thank you very much.
I'm literally thinking the closest I got to the Duke of Edinburgh was making a canoe on the Duke of Edinburgh awards scheme, whereas Hugo has met him.
Yeah, like you say, he was our Duke. Glasgow will have to get its own Duke. I'm sorry.
We wouldn't do Dukes in Glasgow, Hugo. They wouldn't last.
Yes, the BBC's decision to cancel everything and simulcast its own simultaneously on all available outlets prompted so many complaints that they had to set up a special complaints form, which then prompted further complaints about how easy they were making it for people to complain. But people complaining about complaining being too easy is ridiculous. Let's not forget the old days in this country where if you had a complaint about the royal family, you had to crawl under the Houses of Parliament with piles of gunpowder. The Duke's funeral will be held this weekend at Windsor Castle, and Philip departed this life having set a new all-time record for longest-serving royal spouse. Though it must be said some of his predecessors did not put up particularly stern competition, mentioning no 16th century wives of Henry VIII, for example. You have to say the media coverage of Philip's death here in the UK stands in stark contrast to that given to Anne Boleyn, who received a far less positive media response when she passed away in 1536. And when it comes to BBC balance, it's always a difficult seesaw to jump up and down on both sides of at the same time. That sentence got out of control. When it comes to BBC balance, it's always tricky, and we saw a lot of praise for the Duke of Edinburgh scheme, which has done wonders for so many young people, including Susie McCabe, over the years. But we didn't hear from the many people who absolutely hated doing the Duke of Edinburgh scheme. I'm going to balance that out now. This came from Janet. My parents made me do it despite my pathological hatred of tents. Simon wrote in saying I got a splinter in my thumb whilst climbing an unlicensed tree that got infected and left me unable to play Grand Theft Auto for a month, thanks to the Duke of Edinburgh. Peter says, I helped as a kitchen hand for my D.V. in a local old people's home, and I now physically retch when I hear the word cabbage. And Sarah wrote in saying, quite why I was released into the wild on my own with just a compass and a ham sandwich, I have no idea. All I do know is I followed the compass and ended up in the sea off the north coast of Scotland, and when I had to try to pacify an escaped pig, which was not marked on my Ordnance Survey map, a ham sandwich proved to be an at best provocative snack.
Andy, see when we done the Duke of Edinburgh scheme, so there was a couple of elements to it, right? And you just wouldn't get away with this now. One of the elements was the community element, and this is the most stereotypical Scottish thing I could say, but it is 100% true. They let us sit in and watch a live court case, and we went in to watch this trial as part of our Duke of Edinburgh, and then we all knew two of the witnesses in the stands. Could you be more Scottish and working class with that story? I don't think so, right?
And the score at the end of that round is 2 to Team E's, 4 to Team Sleaze. Just some quick breaking news. Following complaints about the lack of Union Jack flags in a recent BBC report, the News Quiz is delighted to offer you the chance to build up a description of the Union Jack. Each week we will describe one shape on the Union Jack, and you can then piece them together at the end of the year to form a full audio description of the national flag. So here is part 1, a blue triangle. Part 2 will follow next week. Moving on, now this question can go to Team E's. What 2 things that people warned would become very complicated in the aftermath of Brexit have become very complicated in the aftermath of Brexit?
Is this not everything? And just everything in life is
everything, that is the correct answer. That's one of the things. And what's the other thing? Apart from everything, what is the other more specific thing?
It's Northern Ireland, isn't it?
Correct. Hugo, yes.
It's the Irish border, that there was no chance that there was going to be a customs border in the Irish Sea, said Boris Johnson, which was his way, his sort of David Cameronish way, I suppose, of preparing us for the fact that there is now a customs border in the Irish Sea. And we were confidently told this is not going to be a problem. We're going to invent new technology, was the thing they were going to do, weren't they? They were going to say, the thing we're going to do, we're going to invent new technology that's going to sort of tell whether you're crossing the border with brie or something. You know, brie-sniffing robots are going to save us from having any kind of customs border in the Irish Sea. And I suppose, to be fair, maybe it's a COVID thing. They've been busy. They haven't got round to inventing the brie-sniffing robots, Andy. And so, and so because of that, there is a lot of unrest. People in Northern Ireland are very upset. They're saying, where are our robots? We were promised our robots. And until you give us robots, we are going to throw bricks and flaming bottles at the police. And that is what happens if you don't provide the robots that were promised, is roughly what is going on in Northern Ireland.
But a lot of this was sort of predictable. You saw it coming. It was like when you're watching a horror movie and you just want to yell, don't go in that house. For all the months before this, we were all saying, don't go into that house. We walked into that house and exactly what you expected happened.
Well, but Delisa, is this not a good thing? You know, for once, politicians' promises are coming true. We've been given exactly the level of complexity, confusion and disorder that we voted for. This is a positive thing, isn't it?
Well, obviously I'm a bit closer to Northern Ireland than most people here, because it's, you know, just across the road, really, and Boris is going to build a bridge, because what Glasgow needs... It really needs a connection where you can have, you know, Catholics and Protestants on either side just walking happily together. Because we're kind of like a diet Belfast in Glasgow, do you know what I mean? We're like... It's like gluten-free sectarianism, that's what we've got, right? We've got the segregated schools, we've got the 2 football teams, we've got the heritage, but we just kind of let it happen 4 or 5 times a season through sport, and that sorts it right out. That's what we need.
Yes, Northern Ireland is marking its centenary this year. It's difficult to believe that it's 100 years since partition finally solved the question of sovereignty once and for all. As partitions so often do. It's now 10 to Team Sleaze, 4 to Team E's. This question goes to Team Sleaze, to Hugo and... It should be clear by now. The scores don't... I just make them up. I'm not even... It's not like the cricket. Okay, we'll give them a couple more. Right, the scores are now 10 to Team Sleaze, 6 to Team E's. Is that good enough for you people? And this question goes to Team Sleaze, to Hugo, and specifically to Susie. Susie, which 5 people had an argument at a safe distance on Tuesday evening?
Guys, that was the Scottish leaders' debate. What a hoot. Did everyone hear that? Wee-hee! That came through there, right? That was Nicola Sturgeon going, oh, what a laugh. I tell you what, right? I imagine that when Scotland has an election and you live in England, it's a bit like Scotland qualifying for the World Cup and England haven't, right? Because...
Bit of 70s nostalgia there.
Yeah. 1870s, mate. 1870s. So we had the leaders' debate. So we had Nicola Sturgeon, and then we had Douglas Ross, who is now the leader of the Scottish Conservative Party. He's also an MP for Moray, or as Boris Johnson called him, Murray Ross from Douglas. It's an easy mistake to make because you know how the Tory parties get so many Scottish Conservative MPs. So... And then we've got a little Patrick Harvey, who's the Green Party, who's like a little hippie but looks like a thumb, like an older Harry Potter, right? But the best thing about our debate was that they had to cross-examine each other. So a couple of weeks ago, Douglas Ross suggested to Scottish Labour and the Scottish Lib Dems, why don't, because we are unionists, join up? And you just seen Scottish Labour go, oh, the last time we done this, it was 2014, and we have been obliterated since then. And you just seen Willie Rennie going, no, I remember 2010 coalition. We can't come anywhere near you, right? So Willie Rennie and Anas Sarwar, Lib Dem, Labour, have formed a little team, just like the Greens and the SNP have formed a little team. And here was their cross-examination. Willie Rennie says to Anas Sarwar, if you were First Minister, what would you do? And he went, I'd make everything great again. And Willie went, well, that's just smashing. Next question, right?
You know, Susie, I didn't watch the debate, but from your description, I'm like, this sounds like the best sitcom. I want to watch it.
Yes, this is the Scottish political leaders who clashed in their second televised pre-election debate this week. The leaders of the 5 main parties clashed on subjects ranging from Scotland's COVID response and universal basic income to the best military strategy for an invasion of England. That was obviously the subtext as I was watching it. But if you play it backwards, they're basically going to come down the A1 to Weatherby Services and take control of the oil. Now the scores are 14-7, let's say, it's an environment round now, and in particular it's a musical round now, featuring the environment. Can you fill in the missing words to this popular song? So, just to repeat, you can't hurry what, you'll just have to wait. Who said what don't come easy? It's a game of what and what. And throw this to both teams. What? Any answers? What?
Is it, there's a climate conference.
Correct, yes.
You can't hurry a climate conference.
That's basically it.
In the time of COVID, negotiations don't come easy. China will probably not agree. You can't.
That's a good one. It's close. It's not perfect, but I will give you some points.
This is the climate conference. It's in Glasgow, right, in November. And they really want it to go ahead, and they're worried that they might have to do it virtually, because this is really weird. So basically, Boris Johnson's big plan is that he can convince the world that the world is warming up at an alarming rate by getting them to go to Glasgow in November. That's madness.
But also all the debate about them wanting to do it live. I'm like, why can't you just do it on Zoom? If it's good enough for a family quiz, then it should be fine for a climate conference. Why do they need to do it in person? It's this absurd thing. It's like it's about the climate and, let's get into planes and fly over to save the planet. It's absurd. Just do it virtually.
Anyway, Lucy was very close. Let's hear the actual correct missing words.
The COP26 Environment Summit scheduled for Glasgow in November. Ivo de Boer, former Executive Secretary of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Meaningful progress. Economic vested interests, political complications. Take.
There we go. So I'll give you 4 points for that, Lucy. That was close enough. And the final question, I'll throw this to both teams. What massive thing has been stolen away from us?
Oh no, this is an awful story. It's a pet theft. The world's largest rabbit has been stolen. And I mean, it's so awful. This poor family, and it is massive as well. It's 4'3", I think it says. I mean, I'm not much taller. It's the only time I've looked at a picture of a rabbit and thought, sling a saddle on that and I will ride it.
I like to think of myself as an amateur sleuth, and I was thinking to myself, who could persuade an animal like this to come with them? And the only person I've come up with is David Attenborough. I think he is prime suspect who has lured it away with his soothing voice.
Has anyone considered it might just have got fed up with being fat-shamed and checked itself into the Priory? It's just...
Also, the owner is an ex-Playboy model, right? The owner is an ex-Playboy model, and I am ashamed at all the newspapers that not one of them had like Playboy Bunny, Loses Bunny, or any of the similar puns available.
Playboy Bunny loses hair? No.
There you go.
That brings us to the end of this first news quiz of the series, and the final scores. Team Sleaze have 14, Team Ease have 13. It's another great British victory for Sleaze. Thank you to our winners Hugo Rifkin and Susie McCabe, and to our defeated panellists Lucy Porter and Daliso Shaponda. Thank you very much for listening to the news quiz. I've been Andy Zaltzman. Goodbye.
Taking part in the news quiz were Daliso Chaponda, Hugo Rifkind, Lucy Porter and Susie McCabe. In the chair was Andy Zaltzman, and additional material was written by Alice Fraser, Jenna Eunice, Simon Alcock and Tasha Dunraj. The producer was Richard Morris, and it was a BBC Studios production.
I am Andy Zaltzman. The year 2021 is barely even a week old, and it already has a lot of questions to answer. Welcome, therefore, to the news quiz. Yes, we are just 1 week into 2021, the short-awaited sequel to 2020. Here in the UK, a school term has been defined in England as a time unit lasting 7 hours. In America, former Bugsy Malone child actor Scott Baio has called for the president to impose martial law. There is a sentence I'd never envisaged myself saying. And meanwhile, obviously, Denmark is tearing itself apart over the launch of a children's cartoon about a man with a 10-metre-long dingle-dongle with which he, of course, attacks an escaped lion. So, the first question of the news quiz this new year, and this goes to all of you listening at home, is... Answers on a postcard. And whilst you think about that, let's meet our teams, your teams today to get 2021 started. Firstly, team When Will It End? That's Zoe Lyons and Jeff Norcott. And they will be taking on team How Did It Start? Who are Catherine Bohart and Alan Cochrane. And as you can hear, we do have a live audience courtesy of Its Highness the Internet Destroyer of Worlds. If our panellists at home lose their internet connection, they will lose points if they storm a democratic building and undermine everything our society stands for. We'll be really quite cross with them. So, moving on now to question one, and this goes to both teams. Who really, really, really does not want to move house? Well,
most men after 8 years of marriage.
That fits. That does fit.
He wouldn't be Donald, would it?
It would, correct. Yes, that's the first point of the year.
Yeah, he hasn't taken it well, has he? I think it's fair to say.
I think a glorious understatement in this world of exaggeration, Jeff.
Who would have thought he'd be a sore loser? I mean, it really goes against everything we've learnt about the gentleman over the last 4 years, doesn't it? It really does. I imagine that right now he's putting prawns and cream cheese behind every radiator in the White House. Sewing them into seams of the curtains.
It's so sad because when you think of the American Civil War, it's very clear on who the good guys and who the bad guys were, and this time it's like, oh, it can all burn.
So I think I must have been in lockdown too long, because I was watching it going, well, I think Washington must still be in tier 2, you know, because some of the people entering that building, they haven't had forehead checks. I mean, they're saying the building's in lockdown, but I think they can still go for exercise and food shopping. So, you know, you've got to check gov.uk.
It has been an unbelievable study in what white dudes can get away with, though. Like, when you compare it to any of the reactions, like holding guns to black children when they ask for things like rights, the absolute red carpet that was rolled out for a bunch of genuine, hateful racists who want to undermine democracy as it functions in America is astounding. Like, my mother doesn't put on that good a spread. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was something to behold.
Alan, do you think, I guess a question we've got to ask is, by repeatedly telling his supporters to riot and what time and where to do it, basically giving them a kind of save the date card as if it was some kind of marriage they were being invited to, do we think Trump played any part at all in this happening, or was it just unlucky?
Although he was clever enough, wasn't he, to not actually say riot. He said, let's walk down there, which it's just got that neutrality. It's a bit like nice car, be a shame if something happened to it. It's just that. I actually disagree. Some of you are having a go at the protesters, but I think hats off to them. If I've never been in a riot, but if I was going to be in a riot, it wouldn't be in a country with as many guns as America. I've thought about this, and I think Iceland, when you're in the sort of full padded clothes, it would be a bit like It's a Knockout, really, like a sort of adult soft play centre. That's the place you want to do your intro rioting, isn't it?
Well, it depends if they unleash the anti-riot volcano.
It did all make me realise just how British the Remain movement was. You know what I mean? They had that gigantic march for revoke, and everybody said, well, what if we don't revoke? And they said, well, we'll hit you with a ruddy great petition. That's what'll happen. Some of them did just look like really ambitious tourists, didn't they?
That's basically what America is, isn't it?
Difficult times for the media as well. When the story was breaking and the people were bursting in, I saw on the BBC the woman was speaking to a gentleman reporter. He said some of the protesters were asked to stop, and I'll be honest, they used the worst swears.
I think that's like, there will be people who die because of what Trump insinuates or doesn't. Like the fact that, yes, okay, Alan's right. He was like, oh, let's just go for a walk and see what happens. But he did also wait 2 hours, I think, before he tweeted to essentially say, oh, we're the party of law and order after the violence and disorder began over his attempt to break the law. It was like, oh, dude, you can't wait 2 hours. And then said at the end, which really made me feel like I was watching a bad Irish mother, like he said, you are loved and you are special. And I just thought, this is how men get out of hand. Those men will not be good partners. Stop it, Trump.
There was a moment at the rally earlier in the day that he held when he described the election results as bullshit, and the crowd then started chanting bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. At which point, I believe, the concept of irony held a press conference and announced its retirement, saying, my work on earth is done. I've achieved more than I could possibly have dreamed of achieving. A quick follow-up question. And obviously, you know, we don't always get the results we want in life. What results do you still refuse to recognise? For me, one is the 1990 World Cup semi-final, and still can't quite get over that. And 2 is the Battle of Hastings. So I think the Normans were offside when the key match-winning arrow was shot. If you look at the tapestry, it's clearly got an armpit over the line. So what results are you refusing to acknowledge?
The primary school closures. I've still been taking my son there every day. I just leave him at the gates and I go back at 3:30 and he looks like he's learned something.
So any results that you're refusing to recognise?
I'm still very bitter about an egg and spoon race I did at primary school, probably about 78, 79. Apparently Teresa won it, but I was demanding a photo finish, or it's that long ago, an etching finish.
Yes, this is indeed the story of the United States of America, once again under attack from one of its oldest, fiercest enemies, the United States of America. We left you back in October on a series-ending cliffhanger, the presidential election. A quick catch-up for those of you who have been waiting to find out what happens. The winner was, we can now exclusively reveal, Joe Biden, albeit he only won if you actually counted the votes and do not ignore all the failed legal cases confirming the election was valid. So, you know. Donald Trump's heroic efforts to set a new Guinness World Record for the longest continuously running tantrum, like a sourdough starter of resentment. No signs of ending, and he's proved himself once again to be both a coward and a despot, if you will, a chicken Caesar. On the plus side, there is now less than 2 weeks to go of this American carnage, but looking at the long term, that silver lining is made of uranium and the cloud is mushroom-shaped. 2 points to Team When Will It End, 1 point to Team How Did It Start. Some breaking news is coming through and more international reaction to the dramatic events in the United States. Chinese President Xi Jinping has announced a national day of giggling. Free bonus globally unnoticed crackdown on democracy in Hong Kong, so they're absolutely loving it. And Margaret Atwood has announced that she's to rewrite her hit dystopian novel A Handmaid's Tale, admitting, I might have underplayed it. So let's move on now. Let's come back across to the correct side of the Atlantic. Who has been accused of very literal short-termism?
Presumably this is Mr. Johnson and his very short-lived school term.
Yes.
I quite liked it. The PM essentially, not for the first time in his life, said one day there was an adequate level of protection, and then the next day said, so there wasn't protection. And as with all of his previous mistakes, it's the kids who suffer. You know, Andy?
Look, Andy, we all know that my main role here is to congratulate the government on what a fantastic job they're doing on everything. And I'd like to just make that point first and foremost. And I am sympathetic to the government recognising that primary school education has a different status in developmental terms. However, I just don't know what would have needed to change in that one day to have taken any sort of different course. I thought, would the kids have discovered a new vaccine from Pritt Stick and glitter? Or would they have realised that sandpits give you a high level of immunity? And the worst thing, Andy, is that being a former teacher, now with homeschooling, I think my wife's expectations are a bit unrealistic. You know, she's like, okay, Jeff, this is your time to shine. I'm like, babe, I taught supply in Luton, right? Now, unless you want to see him in a chokehold, I suggest you get somebody else in.
But aren't you currently an entertainer, Jeff? Couldn't you at least keep him laughing?
Laughing and learning, Catherine. That was always my motto. The thing was, Catherine, it proved that he's got a very weird sense of priorities, because he does actually like school. He's done his first time last year. And I got him up in the morning. I said, look, son, the Prime Minister has spoken to the nation. I'm afraid you're not going to be going back for quite a few weeks, right? And he paused. He looked into the distance and he went, so I had a bath last night for nothing.
What an angel. I do know, like, part of me hopes there was some sort of secret contract and teachers were told the day before, and that actually all that one day was for teachers to have a moment with their students to sort of be like, okay, lads, huddle in. We're not going to be seeing each other for quite some time. Look at me. Listen to me. No matter what Dad says, colouring is not the same as maths. Television does not basically do the same thing as reading. And a teacher doesn't need a drink at noon.
I'm loving listening to Gavin Williamson, though. He's like a sort of Wallace and Gromit villain, isn't he? When Boris was asked whether he was the right person for the job, clearly he's not. He's performed more U-turns than me trying to navigate myself around Milton Keynes. He's very cleverly said he's doing the job to the best of his ability, which you could have just like, he is. He's got no ability, mate. He's got absolutely no ability. It's like me trying to play football. She's doing it to the best of her ability. I've just tripped over myself and knocked out all my teeth. It's the best of her ability. That is the best of her ability.
Personally, I think school terms are like cricket matches. They should go on for as long as possible. But, you know, if one day is all you can manage, I guess that's better than nothing. But what other things do you think should only be allowed to open for one day at a time?
Oh, that's a good question.
Supermarkets. So let's find out what panic buying really looks like.
Campsites.
Alan, flesh out the campsites. Why campsites?
Well, if you're going to open a campsite for one day, you get there, you unpack the tent, you put it up, you have a row, and then you put it back down and you go home and sleep in a house.
I was about to do a joke about Gavin Williamson, then I realised I'd be breaching my contract as a pro-Tory comic, so I'm going to have to back off from that one. But yeah, what else should be open for one day a year? I think Gavin Williamson's mouth, basically, on recent evidence. He's not... Hey, bloody Tories. Oh, it feels good, Andy, it feels good.
This is how bad it's got, though, with ministers now. I found myself... I actually said this out loud to myself in the kitchen the other day. I went, I think I miss Jeremy Hunt. That's how bad it's got. I think I miss him. I miss him a little bit. You know, he was bad. We split up for various reasons, but, you know, now I can see his good points. I think he can think a thought through to the end, and, you know, that's quite important to the minister, possibly.
Yes, this is indeed the school shutdowns. Gavin Williamson, Education Secretary of all of our hearts, channelled his inner Alice Cooper and announced that school's out possibly until summer. So 3 million children went to school for one day, presumably to try to trick the virus into following them like an inverse Pied Piper of Hamelin before running off and slamming the school gate shut with the virus trapped inside. Entirely the weirdest strategy we've had a go at yet. And another lockdown-related question now. What is due to make a comeback this week? It's in fact the clap. The clap is back.
You mean the NHS clap and not the STD clap, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
You're not happy about this, Alan?
I just, like everybody, I did the applause for the NHS last time, but unlike apparently everybody else, I'm a fan of nuance and detail and just...
You're living in the wrong century.
The fact that it's just the NHS without any detail of how far back we're going... So what I did, I decided to compromise. I applauded every week, but I walked into the street and shouted, "This is not for Dr. Shipman. This is not for Dr. Shipman."
I mean, what about this kind of third lockdown? Any new plans for how to try to get through it?
I've just sort of given up, which is such a relief. I fought against the last two. I was angry, I was agitated, and I was bored, and now I'm broken, and I'm just so much happier. And I've given up thinking I'm going to learn a language, or pottery, or carpentry, or crochet, or archery, which is difficult in the flat, I'll be honest. Through several cats. Eating ice cream out of a tub with a shovel. It's so much better than thinking you're ever going to achieve anything or better yourself. You're not. I'm 49 years old. If I haven't bettered myself by now, it ain't going to happen. This is as good as it gets. If anything, I've peaked and we're on the slide down.
I was thinking one thing, Andy, like, you know, if this thing seems like it's going to go to March or April, there'll be a lot of people that will have been furloughed for a whole year. And when they go back to work, they might need to reacclimatise. So, like with primary schools, when you drop your kids off and you wait there a while, there's going to be lots of anxious partners standing in the car park going, I just think I'll wait for a while. He's been a bit up and down. I mean, we have had toileting issues. Basically, he's stopped walking to the toilet. He just does it on the couch.
Personally, this third lockdown, I've got a big poster of Raquel Welch on my wall, and I'm burrowing my way out into my own garden with a tiny rock hammer. Yes, so we are back in lockdown. The glimmer of hope is the vaccines. It has, sadly for us on this show, it's turned out that laughter is not the best medicine. Vaccines are better than laughter. And on the subject of vaccines, we have a question from a member of our audience today. Is Karen available to deliver her a question about vaccines?
Hello, I'm here.
Hello, Karen.
My question is, given the shortage of glass vials for the vaccines, could pint glasses from closed pubs be repurposed? Are there any other items, glass or otherwise, that could be repurposed for the vaccine?
It'd have to be a shot glass, Karen, surely.
Up on a fundamental hope of the British people. We'll need those glasses again. I feel like that's spoken like a Karen who does dry January. Do you know what I mean? We can't have that kind of attitude. No. There are better alternatives as well, surely.
Yeah, those little bottles that you get hotel miniatures in.
Yes.
Personally, I'd go for Lancaster bombers. Just blast vaccine from the skies. Just get everyone to stand outside their houses, open mouth, looking to the skies.
I mean, there was that issue earlier a couple of days ago where they were saying that at that point they weren't having 7-day deliveries of the vaccine, which you'd think in a global pandemic someone might have thought we should probably have this going every day. And I think it's a very hard sell, not least when we're living in an era when you can get same-day delivery on a toaster.
I did the foolish thing of using that vaccine calculator the other day to see where I was in the queue. I'm number 38,472,000. That was like, I won't stay on hold for that.
So that brings us to the end of that round. Team When Will It End? Zoe and Jeff have 4. Team How Did It Start? Alan and Catherine have 5. And here's a question on the ever-popular subject of Ian Duncan Smith. Why, this new year, did Ian Duncan Smith wish he was 21 again?
Was he just getting nostalgic about freedom?
Well, that's heading towards it. No, the correct answer was because of Brexit. He wished he was 21 again so he could enjoy Brexit. He encouraged British people to be out there buccaneering, trading, dominating the world again. I mean, he was 21 in 1975, shortly before the first Brexit referendum. So presumably, maybe he wishes he was 21 so he could be looking forward to 4.5 decades of EU citizenship and rights. But we don't know. We just don't know.
Less likely, I suspect.
How's the first week of post-deal Brexit been for you all?
I'll take this one, Andy.
Okay, Jeff, dive in.
The FTSE's up. The pound is at a year high against the dollar, and the chaos at the ports hasn't materialised. So, did you want a comedy answer, or you just want to?
No. Does that mean it's a success, or is it?
It's going all right. But I remember there's a quote, wasn't there, from one of the leading lights of the Chinese Communist Party that said about the French Revolution, "It's too early to tell," and that was 200 years after the French Revolution. So basically, what I'm saying is, if my son ever listens to this in the future, A, you're welcome. Or B, if it hasn't gone well, I'm afraid you can't judge me till I'm dead. Sorry, mate.
Well, it is too early, particularly with the referendum series locked tantalisingly at 1-1.
It seems to have gone all right so far, doesn't it? But the ports were quite quiet because it was post-Christmas and people had stockpiled in case there were problems. But there were still lorries that turned up going from Wales, I think, to Ireland that had to be turned back because they didn't have the right paperwork. You think, did they not know? Gosh, when they find out about the pandemic, they're really going to have a shock, aren't they? They clearly haven't been watching the news.
It is quite funny that in the same week as the first reclamation of borders for Britain, every country in Europe promptly banned entry. It was like, oh, come on, gorgeous, yes, please.
Ian Duncan Smith exhorted our entrepreneurs to be out there buccaneering, trading and dominating the world again, and the rest of the world heard those words, turned to each other nervously and said, nail everything down. Absolutely everything down. They must have some new museums and they want them filling up. But I guess the important thing is, I mean, it is a bit early 1 week in to judge its success or failure, but a deal was done, no matter what the deal was. A deal's a deal, as Shakespeare said. We have jumped the floating ship and we will now ride the shark fin of freedom across the smooth oceans of history. And Boris Johnson said this. He said, this government does not want to be defined by the portmanteau words COVID and Brexit. And similarly, I'm sure the 19th century cricket legend W.G. Grace wanted to be defined not by his cricket and his beard, but by his squirrel sanctuary and penge and an album of Bananarama covers he put together in his bedroom. But history doesn't work like that. Our next round is a money round, and the question to lead us off is, who has not been on the money, so to speak?
Oh, is this the designer?
Yes, correct, Alan.
This is a story about a money designer who drew an H.G. Wells coin, and his tripod has 4 legs.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if we've got any maths experts in the audience or any linguists that can guess the problem with the 4-legged tripod. But yeah, people don't like that. And I can totally understand it, because for some reason a 4-legged baddie is not as scary. I don't know why. It's as soon as you think of 4 legs, you think table, and that's just not frightening. But weirdly, if you think of 3 legs, you think milking stool, and that's not scary either. But tripods, for some reason, are scary. Is that the answer?
It's a bit odd, like, calling out inaccuracies when you're already dealing with fictional aliens.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like it's like when you're watching Avengers and your mate goes, hang on, they can suddenly breathe on that planet. A minute ago, they were wearing masks. You're like, yeah. And how comes Hulk can increase his body mass without getting stretch marks? Just watch the film, mate. Do you know what I mean?
It is a big blunder, though, isn't it? The tripod, the triffids with 4. It's like giving the Daleks Clark's shoes or something.
I just don't know that, like, and I do hear what you're saying. I just don't know how anybody has the energy to be angry about it, though. Like, I'm like, yeah, tripods should have 3 legs. People shouldn't eat bats. You're like, yeah, we're all stuff happens. But like, also, genuine question: who's still using cash?
Yeah.
Like a £2 coin, if it's over 30p. Get your card out. What are you doing? Like, there's a pandemic.
I had exactly the same thing. I don't judge coins by their numerical value anymore. I judge them by how well will they sharpen to throw at the hordes of starving rioters in a couple of years' time.
I don't like that you made that a logical progression of my sentence.
People got angry about the hats. Apparently the hat for the Invisible Man is the wrong hat. Now, if I was the designer, I would have said, yeah, but I got the man right. Can't see him anywhere on it.
This is a story about the Royal Mint and their £2 coin in tribute to sci-fi pioneer H.G. Wells, old heavy goods himself. And it's an interesting fact about the H.G. Wells coin. If you put it in a supermarket trolley, the trolley travels backwards through time, and you can pay for everything at 1920s prices. But you lose your nectar points. Tough call. Not the first coin there's been trouble over. The commemorative Brexit 50p coin was also the source of some disapproval for the omission of the so-called Oxford comma after the word prosperity in the slogan peace, prosperity and friendship with all nations, although it should be noted that the Oxford comma is only 70% successful. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, and the final results is to be determined following a series of legal challenges, and we will inform you in a couple of months' time. To our panellists, Alan Cochrane and Catherine Bohart and Zoe Lyons and Jeff Norcott, just time for a quick bit of breaking news. Rishi Sunak has announced that to compensate for the cancellation of Christmas 2020, he's brought forward Christmas 2067 to April of this year. The Chancellor explained, I don't know how the people in 2067 will deal with it, but they haven't complained when I've nicked all their money, so I reckon we can get away with it. Thank you for listening. I've been Andy Zaltzman. Goodbye.
Taking part in the news quiz were Zoe Lyons, Jeff Norcott, Catherine Bohart and Alan Cochrane. In the chair was Andy Zaltzman, and additional material was written by Alice Fraser, Mike Shepherd, Charlie Dinkin and Celia A.B. The producer was Richard Morris, and it was a BBC Studios production.
Oh, I'm Andy Zaltzman. Stop whatever it is you're doing, unless it's quite important or moderately interesting. Welcome to the news quiz. So this is the news quiz. Some of the answers you might be hearing to this week's questions about this week's news include yes, no, completely inexplicable, a cold portion of battered haddock is what could probably do a better job, and a cheeky little tennis ball in the throat. We are joined once again down the magical secret tubes of technology by a live audience. You can see them all now, some hugely impressive multitasking going on, some high-octane body popping, some oddly violent knitting, and you, in the suit of armour, recreate the Battle of Naseby in your own time. We've got a show to do. Time to meet this week's teams. We have for you this week Team Flout and Team Obey. On Team Flout, we have Athena Koblenyu and Hugo Rifkind.
Hello.
And on Team Obey, the far more law-abiding Alan Cochrane and Angela Barnes. Right, it's time for question one, and this goes to Athena and Hugo on Team Flout. Who is planning to break what, with what, and why?
This sounds like Boris Johnson, I think, and he's planning on breaking some international laws, which is fine because, you know, there's no jails in the ocean. Like, it's no... If you're going to break a law, break an international law, don't double park. That's annoying. he's fought this doing it. I think he's gonna do it with a bit of law that says he can do it, which is masterful. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could just write a law to say you could break a law. I'm just going to write stuff down now. I don't want to pay council tax anymore. I'm just going to write that down.
It is kind of mad. I mean, this is the agreement that they prorogued Parliament over, and the one that we had the election about. And all along, people were saying, look, you know what, there's a problem with this, because the bits you've put in this agreement to keep Northern Ireland aligned with the single market, so that there doesn't need to be a hard border, might keep the rest of the UK aligned with the single market too. And they're saying it doesn't matter if they're going to break an international treaty, because you have Brandon Lewis saying, yes, it does break international law, but only in a very limited and specific way. To which the obvious retort is, well, yes, of course, nobody's saying it breaks international law in every possible way. No one's saying that because you're breaking one treaty, you're automatically committing genocide and mining in Antarctica. Like, it's not like you're compelled to start whaling. You know, you break a law, and you have, in a very limited and specific way, broken that law. That is how law kind of works.
If you break international law, who's going to arrest you? Like the Avengers? Like, I don't think... Who enforces this stuff? Some guy's going to come from the moon.
I guess one of the problems was that it all comes down to Northern Ireland, and the existence of Northern Ireland was not actually confirmed by scientists until after the Brexit vote. I mean, there have been rumours of the existence of some distant, mysterious place with a land border with the EU, but I, like most people in England, assumed it was some mythical, fictitious kingdom like Atlantis or El Dorado or Dubai. I just assumed it was real.
It's like most of my family. I only really remember most of them are there when there's a row. I think the problem is, isn't it, that they've sort of... We've framed Brexit, the current government have framed Brexit as this sort of fight between the concepts of liberty and nationalism, and the reality of it is it's just a load of very, very boring rules about fishing.
But it's also, I mean, if you think back to proroguing Parliament, he already broke British law to make the British law that he's now going to not obey in order to break international law. It's very confusing.
The key is you've got to do it an even number of times, because they multiply out into legality. I think that's how it works.
I mean, to be fair, you know, every other day I'm signing an iTunes agreement and I've never read the bloody thing.
Alan, I know you've spent a lot of your career as an international criminal mastermind. What are your favourite international laws to flout, to break?
Oh, I think this one particularly would be my favourite, probably. I agree with Athena. I think if nobody's policing it, I don't really see why it's that bad a deal. And it would have been quite nice if Brandon Lewis had just blurted out in Parliament, what are you going to do about it? I think it was already a mistake of him to say, yes, this is technically breaking the law, but very specifically. But if he'd added what are you going to do about it, I think he would have faced it back out And people will have been like, well, who is policing this?
We left the EU, so we didn't need to obey European law, and now, in order not to obey international law, we've just got to leave the world. Fine.
That's phase 2, I think. Yes, correct. This is the story about the government's internal market bill, which would give the UK the power to renege on the withdrawal agreements. Of late, Boris Johnson has been floundering around like a lactose-intolerant arachnophobe who's forgotten his safe word at a cheese and spiders fetish party. One of the government's top-ranking lawyers, Jonathan Jones, head of the government legal service, resigned. And to put into context the extent of the concern in Europe, the European Commission Vice President, Maroš Šefčovič, travelled to London on Thursday to voluntarily spend time with Michael Gove. I hope that shows you exactly what we're dealing with. And let's not forget, this withdrawal agreement wasn't just much trumpeted by Boris Johnson in the build-up to the election. He fully Miles Davis'd it. And like with jazz, it confused many people who weren't really into it, but its fans insisted you don't have to understand it, you just have to feel it. And also like jazz, it turns out it's not about the words that you actually put in the agreement, it's also about the words that you don't put in the agreement. So 2 points there to Hugo and Athena on Team Flout. Currently, I may reassess that if it proves to be inconvenient at a later stage. Just a quick bonus question for both teams. Nuance is having another bad year. So my question to you, is Nuance absolutely awesome, or is it simply rubbish?
Awesome. Just awesome.
Awesome, right.
I won't play with your joke. It's awesome.
I agree with Hugo. I think Nuance is really good.
What's the subtext of what you're saying? I'll give a point to both sides and you can read into that whatever you want. Question 2. It's a multiple choice question for Team Obey, for Angela and Alan. The question is, what is the rule of 6? Is it A, a regulation governing what happens when you hit a cricket ball over a rope? Is it B, the title of Henry VIII's best-selling self-help book, subtitled A 16th Century Monarch's Guide to Marriage? Is it C, science celeb Albert Einstein's theory relating to the maximum number of times you can drop your toaster in the bath before you should give up your attempts to make crunchy water? Or is it D, the government's new COVID regulation? A, B, C, or D?
Oh, well...
I mean, I like them all.
Gonna have to choose.
But I think, sadly, it's D. It's the government's COVID regulation. And there's a surprising number of rules of 6, aren't there? Which I didn't know about today. In comedy, there's a rule of 3. But this government apparently have just brought in a rule of 6, which I think makes them twice as funny as us. Is that right?
It's quite depressing, isn't it, when you do sort of think, all right, I'm going to do it, I'm going to go out, I'm going to socialise tonight, and then you realise you can't actually get together 6 people. That's my life. I mean, I'm in my 40s now. A couple of years ago, I did a proper cull, and I recommend it. I do. What really, I couldn't quite believe what I was hearing when he suddenly started talking about his moonshot idea. You know, his idea that we'll all be testing each other, well, not each other, ourselves, presumably. I don't know, do what you like. If you want to test each other, that's fine. But, you know, doing it every day and to call it a moonshot, you might as well call it my unicorn tier plan. You know, it's just...
The moonshot's interesting. I think what the government means when it uses the term moonshot is that the test results are going to be faked in a studio in Texas.
As public health messaging goes, it is actually a bit of an improvement than earlier in the week, the extraordinarily creepy "don't kill your gran."
Yeah, but it's a good, simple message, isn't it?
It's such a weird message because 20-somethings are now catching COVID, their COVID cases. But I think 20-somethings have got every right to turn around to 80-somethings and say, I didn't see you getting that bothered about super gonorrhea.
But, I mean, so are you saying, Alan, that you think people should be killing their grannies? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's another problem, isn't it? Because people are very suggestible, and we all know that if you say don't think of an elephant, everybody thinks of an elephant.
And also, I mean, we need to give the government credit. We need to be balanced on this series, as we keep hearing. And making the UK a laughingstock is the closest the government has yet come to doing anything to support the beleaguered UK comedy industry. So it's not much, but it's a start. The gigs will come from that.
My favourite review of COVID-19 was the French writer Michel Houellebecq, who said he thought it was banal. He said it's not even sexually transmitted.
The rule of six, correct, was option D, the government's new COVID regulation. From next Monday, you'll only be allowed to meet in groups of up to 6 with some exceptions. For example, going to school, work, on transport, organised sport, weddings, funerals, being a government advisor, or if you just can't really be asked. It's going to be quite tricky for families. You might have to, reclassify your family gathering as a wedding or, a funeral. It's just for the afternoon, Uncle Terry. Think of it as a game of hide and seek. Or as an organised sports team, can Granny play scrum half? Might lack a bit of pace on the break, but can probably organise a back line. There's no substitute for experience. Anyway, I digress. So, since it was the rule of 6, that's 6 points to Team Obey, to Angela and Alan. And it's time for our first question from a member of the audience. Do we have Pauline Leftly here? I mean, to be honest, I know people will say we've only chosen Pauline Leftly because of her surname.
Hello.
Hi, Pauline. What is your question for our panellists?
My question is, would you be prepared to have the Russian COVID vaccine?
Are you offering?
I would. I think Putin is the world's greatest human, so I have nothing to fear. He'll give me the good one.
Oh, you're going to have to show some working on that one, Athena.
Hey, come on, Andy. Say what you like about Vladimir Putin. Actually, don't. He's very clear about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're ever going to choose to get it. It's going to come on the end of an umbrella where you walk across the bridge, isn't it?
So, Athena, can you just fill us in? What do you love about Mr. Putin?
Oh, I wasn't prepared to expand on that. It's just
well, he knows how to handle a horse. We've got to give him that.
What can I say? I mean, he bared his chest. He rides a horse. I mean, what's not to love? Hey, they dope their athletes. Maybe the vaccines will give me a 6-pack.
That brings us to the halfway point. The scores are 7 to Angela and Alan on Team Obey, 3 to Hugo and Athena on Team Flout. But since the stories have been about Brexit and COVID, and we don't really know how they're going to pan out for at least the next, 10 or 20 years, I'm going to take the score back to 0-0. So well done to both teams. We will remark the show in the year 2040, and we will post the result online. Question 3 with a score intriguingly locked at 0-0. This goes to Team Obey, to Alan and Angela. Who has been complaining about how other people have been complaining?
Oh, I think I know this. I think this is everybody's friends, Extinction Rebellion, who blockaded some printing presses so that newspapers, largely from right-wing press, couldn't get to the newsagents. Which, if you are interested in nuance, you might think is perhaps like a modern version of book burning. I do think Extinction Rebellion perhaps look at Nazi book burning, and the thing that troubles them most is the emissions. But before anybody gives me any problem, I'm not one of those climate denying horror shows. I actually agree a lot with their message. I just don't always agree with what they do to get it across. I agree with that thing that people say: reduce, reuse, recycle. That's very much the approach I take to writing comedy. But they get bad press and good, don't they? Because their views, their systems are very provocative. Like when they first came to my awareness, it was when they glued one of their protesters to the Docklands Light Railway in London. For any fact fans, one of the most efficient methods of public transport on earth.
What, being glued to a train?
They shut it down and lots of people couldn't get to work and all that stuff. And I remember it very vividly because it really polarised amongst my friendships. My middle class friends seemed to be oh, this is great, they're raising awareness for an issue that there's not enough awareness about, climate change. And my working class friends were a bit more like, I wonder what glue that is. You stick human flesh to a tube door, that is a good glue, and it's worth knowing what brand it is. It's a complicated issue though, isn't it? I don't want you to think that I agree with all of their message, because one thing I like to do before jumping on a bandwagon is read the small print about where the bandwagon might be going.
Never check the timetable.
Extinction Rebellion do that sneaky thing like the voiceover on an advert where it's all like, oh, the environment, and then it talks really fast, you know, where they go, your stocks may go up as well as down. They do that where it's like, and also we want to destroy capitalism. And you go, hang on. I'm not up for that. That's not like, I mean, I know capitalism is flawed, but speaking generally, I think it works out better for people and the environment than non-capitalism, as in, you know, humans being starving.
Yeah, Chernobyl wasn't great for the environment, was it?
Or Venezuela, where people got so hungry they ate the zoo animals. That's probably not great for the planet overall, is it?
Or for the kids on a day out in the zoo, either.
I'm with Alan. I think their message is good, but their means is sometimes questionable. Although I didn't really object to what they did with the papers. I just thought they should have done all the papers because there's disinformation across the spectrum. I find it quite funny that people are now thinking of ways to kind of silence them. So I don't know if you know that there were plans in the works to classify them as organised criminals, which I think is really offensive to organised criminals. Because
damaging the brand.
It's like, I've seen Scarface, all right? Now that's a criminal that's very organised, all right there. He's got tigers, he's got nice furniture. I went to the Extinction Rebellion protests a few months, I think it must have been a year ago now, in the centre of London, not the circus. That was the least organised thing I've ever seen. There are people walking around in odd socks. That's not organised crime to me. That's just people going out for the crack, really.
You're talking about badly organised crime, basically. Yeah.
It did make me think with these printing presses being blockaded, Hugo, and you obviously work in the newspaper industry. If only there was some way that newspapers could share their content with readers without having to physically print it all out. But I guess that's just a crazy pipe dream, isn't it?
From my perspective, it was. I mean, I'll be. We'll see how funny this is. Maybe not very, but it was very annoying because, like, there are a variety of ways you can make the country greener if that's what you want to do. One is that you can write columns for newspapers, converting a formerly sceptical readership into being less so, and imploring the government to axe subsidies for polluting heavy industry and maybe redirect them towards renewable energy. And that's kind of what I've tried to do for maybe 20 years now. And the other way you can do it, perhaps, is that you just superglue yourself to a delivery truck and prevent a granny from getting a newspaper. Each to their own, not judging much.
Correct. This is the story of the activist collective Extinction Rebellion making headlines after they blocked access to several printing presses for a whole 12 hours. The movement has described government plans to treat them as an organised crime group as ridiculous, and the government's message to Extinction Rebellion this week has been clear and unequivocal. Leave the disruption and undermining of our national life, democracy and commerce to the people that we have democratically elected to disrupt and undermine them. So that is 2 points to Team Obey. Just some breaking news just reaching us now. A new report has claimed that the use of misleading statistics has risen more than 1 billion-fold in the past 10,000 years and has now reached 128% of its maximum possible level. The report added that the average human is now both 73.8 times as confused as an average pigeon, whilst although more than 3 billion people have died since the invention of television, radio remains the more deadly medium, with more than 5.2% more deaths since its invention than television, although of course neither holds a candle to the book. That just in. Right, question now for Team Flout on a related topic. Who was to blame for some unnecessary environmental destruction this week?
This has got to be an expecting couple in America on the West Coast. Is it West? Yeah. And they had a gender reveal party, and they used some kind of explosive device to tell everybody what genitalia their child would have, and it started a forest fire that is still burning today, I believe. I think it's still going.
That's some genitalia, that, isn't it?
That is also a sentence that really should never have had to be uttered in that way.
I can't think of a party more boring to attend than a gender reveal party. I can think of a more interesting one, though. A father reveal party. That would be good. Yeah.
The idea of a gender reveal party feels very American, doesn't it? In Britain, we do that by text message.
The joke is they started this fire to reveal the gender, and it's still burning. I've got no idea what gender this child is. If they have any...
It's true, yeah. Is it? Well, we can maybe guess. Is it male or female, or is it Satan?
Is that an official gender now? It's very hard to keep up. I mean, because girls are fiery, but boys are destructive. So I mean, it's
But you have the gender reveal part. You have that like before you have the baby, right? And you're holding up photos and stuff. Yeah, not afterwards.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. That's changed. When I was born at my own gender reveal ceremony as a Jewish boy, it happened at 8 days after birth, and compared with these rather expensive, overblown modern things, well, it was an absolute snip.
My friend, Andy, I don't know if this is a thing, but my friend was circumcised at 8 days old, and I found out recently that his grandmother still has his foreskin in her freezer. Is that normal?
That's calamari.
Shh, don't give the secrets away, Alan. Yes, this is correct. This is the story of a smoke-generating pyrotechnic device at a gender reveal party in California, sparking a wildfire which spread over thousands of acres. A gender reveal party, for those of you who don't know, is a party at which expectant parents reveal to their friends, family, and more importantly, social media followers whether their impending bundle of financial and lifestyle constraints, unbridled joy and happiness is a boy or a girl. So I'm not sure gender is not necessarily the appropriate term for that. It's not really revealing gender. More accurate, it should be called a sex reveal party, but that just sounds a little bit 1970s, doesn't it? The origin of gender reveal parties, it's not actually American, as some of you have been saying. It's believed to have originated from the Pope reveal parties that the Vatican holds to announce what the new pontiff is going to be. And I think white smoke means it's going to be an old man. Right, so that's 2 points to Team Flout. On to another parenting question. This goes to both teams. When is it acceptable to buy a 1-year-old child a bottle of whiskey?
Yes. This has made me really angry, this story. Like, this is a story, isn't it, of the guy who bought his son a bottle of 18-year-old scotch on his birthday every year, and now the son is 28 and he's flogged the collection for £40,000, and now he can put a deposit on his house. And I just think, do you know, if you can put a deposit on your house in the current climate because your daddy bought you a bottle of whiskey every year for your birthday, the least you can do is shut up about it.
Spare a thought for the granddad in the story that got 40 years worth of toys and baby clothes.
This is the story of Matthew Robson from Taunton, given a bottle of 18-year-old Macallan single malt by his father every birthday since his birthday in 1992, so now selling his boozy nest egg in order to put down a deposit for a house. And this leads on to a question from audience member Candia McCormack. Are you there, Candia?
Hello there.
Hello, Candia. Can you pose your question to our panellists?
Given Matthew's handsome return for his whiskey stash, what would you give to a newborn baby now as a good investment in 28 years' time?
An EU passport.
The EU won't exist in 20 years.
No, they'll all be members of the UK by then.
I've learned my lesson from the pandemic. If I was giving somebody something that I thought would rise in value over the years now, it would be dried pasta and toilet roll.
Yes. Well, let's get the correct answer. What is the best gift to give to a newborn baby now is a good investment in 28 years' time? I'm just running a computer simulator of the next 28 years of all global events now, and the correct answer is a polar bear, because nostalgia always goes up in value, or at least it used to. Getting upset on behalf of a hypothetical polar bear. People get offended by anything these days. Right, well, we are tied at 4 points all, which means we need a tiebreaker question. So we're going to go for a second audience question. We've got a question from an Ed. Is Ed there? No, seems to have dropped out, so I'll just read it. Hi, I am Ed Davey, leader of the Liberal Democrats. I've noticed leaders of other opposition parties in other countries seem to be much better at getting on the news. So what would you advise to try to raise my media profile here in Britain? A Russian-style near-fatal poisoning or a Belarusian-style bundling into the back of a van? Happy to do whatever it takes. So any advice for Ed Davey?
Just take your kit off, get some super glue, tape yourself to the DLR. Okay.
Well, I think that might have won it. A naked Ed Davey on the front of an electric train. I think that might be the logical endpoint of British democracy. So you've just won the game. Team Flout takes it by 5 points to 4. Congratulations to Athena and Hugo. Commiserations to the devastated Angela and Alan. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Just a quick bit of breaking news before we leave you. Some slightly disturbing news here. Scientists have proved that all necessary recipes have now been cooked. This is devastating for the TV industry, devastating for society. Sorry to end the show on such a downer. Thanks to our teams Athena Kublenyu and Hugo Rifkind and Angela Barnes and Alan Cochrane. I've been Andy Zaltzman. Goodbye.
Taking part in the news quiz were Angela Barnes, Alan Cochrane, Athena Kublenyu and Hugo Rifkind. In the chair was Andy Zaltzman, and additional material was written by Jeffrey Adu, Catherine Brinkworth, Charlie Dinkin, Alice Fraser and Rooney Talwar. The producer was Richard Morris, and it was a BBC Studios production.
Welcome to the News Quiz with your host, Angela Barnes.
Hello and welcome to the News Quiz. Well, I won't lie, I didn't expect to be chairing Radio 4's flagship topical comedy panel show via a video call from a duvet fort in my living room, but then I also imagined I'd have trousers on. It is indeed a brave new world. So I wanted to start this week by saying that this both will be the News Quiz as we know and love it, and it won't be the News Quiz as we know and love it. A sort of Schrodinger's News Quiz, if you like, which would also explain why this cat is in this box. Only joking, I don't have a cat. If I wanted something in my house that demanded food and didn't respect me, I'd have had kids. Here at News Quiz, we aren't going to pretend that this pandemic isn't happening, but we are going to try and have a giggle in the face of adversity, because that's what makes us human. So let's start, as we always do, with a cutting. And this one's a notice from the Denham Village Scotland Facebook group, read by Neil Sleet.
Has anyone found a hearing aid on the green? If you come across one, please give me a shout.
Thanks to Neil Russell for sending that in. Now, let's meet the teams. Usually at this point, I'd say on my right we have, but on my right now is an empty comfort tub of Haagen-Dazs. So instead, coming from their respective homes, we have in Team A, Desiree Birch and Kerry Godliman. Hey. And in Team B, it's Helen Lewis and Mark Steele. So, we're obviously not in the radio theatre. We're in our respective houses. I'm in my front room. Sorry, this is Radio 4, isn't it? I mean drawing room. Where are you sitting right now, Helen Lewis?
I'm in my room, which is just a room. I only have the one. I live in London. I only have a room. I don't have a morning room, a conservatory, all that. Nope, just a room.
Just in the room. Kerry Godliman?
I'm in the box room.
I was going to say, you look like you're in a box room. Have you been banished?
I'm least likely to be disturbed in here by family and
whoever else might drift in. No one else would come in the house, would they, in these circumstances?
If they have, I'll have to phone the police. It would be my duty to do so. Mark Steele, where are you joining us from?
I'm on my settee. I've got to go out for some frozen peas at some point. I think I might save it up until next Monday as a treat. That's my big day out.
Oh, careful. Don't overdo it, mate. Desiree Birch, where are you joining us from?
I am joining you from my bedroom, the most sound-dampened room in my place, mostly because it's covered in piles of laundry, the clean right next to the dirty, because I like to live on the edge, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, now we've had a glimpse into your horrifying lives, let's crack on with the show. Desiree, who is refusing to pay who?
Oh, God. Okay, so this is the horrendous news that Trump has decided that the USA, the WHO's largest funder, is going to take away nearly $500 million in funding because he's accusing the organization of severely mismanaging and covering up the threat of coronavirus, which, of course, he's mad about because it stole ratings from him severely mismanaging and covering up the coronavirus. And we all know he's doing this in America because, one, he just released those $1,200 stimulus checks with his EKG meter of his signature on them. And because he signed them personally, we all know they're going to bounce. So he definitely needs the extra cash. And it's interesting because I'm sure he just got mixed up with the acronyms. Like he's defunding the WHO, but I think he just thought it was Who because he honestly hasn't been into Doctor Who since she became a woman a few years back. And the thing is, it's $400 million. We're the WHO's biggest funder. And we're followed after that by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and then Britain are the next biggest funders, right? The problem with this is that it's going to be made up for by other countries and other billionaires, right? This is really how the billionaires take over. If you think about it, Mike Bloomberg spent $400 million, more than that on his last presidential bid. He should have just bided his time and become president of all of health right now. He would be swinging in power right now if he just waited it out. And I think if someone like Mark Zuckerberg plays his cards right, he can make sure that all of the vaccines that come out in a year have personalized ad trackers built into them. So we don't have to take any quizzes on Facebook that say, do you have IBS? Take this quiz and find out. It'll be you definitely have IBS. We've already sent you the charcoal wind remover pill so that you still have friends at the end of this so we can track their movements online too.
When I read this story, I did think before we judge Trump, maybe he's just doing what we're all doing at the moment, trying to decrease our outgoings. I started by cancelling my gym membership and HelloFresh. That was the first thing I did.
I think it's terrifying. It's just he clearly hasn't got a clue, and it's the virus is so clever. It's waited until he's in charge before coming out, thinking we'll be able to kill the whole world off with this moron running everything. It's just terrifying. And he stands there, and the scientists come on every day and say what they're going to say, and then he comes on and says, "No, that's all rubbish. A malaria tablet does work. Chocolate hobnobs are a cure. Orange juice, pour it, stick a cactus up your bottom." It's just bonkers.
What's terrifying as well, though, is the confidence with which he's saying people are swept along with it and people will still vote for him. It's because he does it with such confidence. It's hard not to go along with it. It's yeah, fine, defund the World Health Organization, give the horse a vajazzle, whatever, do it.
And he's pretty much relying on trying to shift the blame, obviously, so that he can get reelected in November. He doesn't care if he kills all of his base before we actually get to November by defunding the WHO. Also, the WHO doesn't have enough money to do what it does. It's the middleman for all of these pandemics, all these global crises. Its aim, it says, is to get 1 billion people on Earth healthcare with a budget of $6 billion, which is $6 a person, right? That's not enough to get Tiger King Joe Exotic's 3 straight husbands counseling or dental veneers. That's not enough money to do anything. So we shouldn't be taking away funding. We need to add it desperately.
It's 3 packets of Nurofen each.
Write it out.
Have you been watching his press conferences? They're quite compelling to watch, aren't they? I know I've been inside for a long time, so I watched one the other day and I found myself getting jealous of his tan. And he does seem to talk about the coronavirus as if it's some sort of despot leader that he's trying to negotiate with. I think it's only a matter of time before he invites the virus round to Mar-a-Lago for dinner.
I like he's negotiating with it. Some sports activities are back on, aren't they, in America? They're sort of
Well, this is in Florida, isn't it? Have you seen how Florida's
Isn't everything
coping with
in America that's weird in Florida? Yes, it is. You say some sports, real sports are not back on. There's no basketball, there's no football. What there is WWE wrestling. That's
and
back
golf.
on.
Isn't golf on?
Oh, yeah, that's also true. Well, so basically all the golfers are upset because the golf clubs have been closed, but they're like, well, that's our exercise. And, it's as socially distanced as possible. And I guess if, Trump loves golf, right? He owns golf courses. If it's anything that he's involved in and it's a sport that he plays, we can guarantee that it's definitely socially distanced, right?
Why doesn't jousting come back?
Yeah, plenty of covering up, right?
Reese would be up for that, wouldn't he?
Yes. But in America, that would just be a duel because we don't have swords. We just go to guns and then the sport would end really quickly.
So that's right. I'm struggling with the lack of sport. Can't we have sort of thing? What about like athletics, but all the athletes go one at a time or something? Or
I think they should keep WWE wrestling going, but I think like all the rest of us, they should have to do it in their own homes. Like watch them systematically destroying everything in their house, like a sort of reverse changing rooms. I quite fancy that.
I feel like with some regulations it could carry on because now the wrestling is going to be fun if the fighters have to be 2 meters apart because obviously the sport will just become 40 minutes of trash talk and then 2 oiled up muscle queens getting increasingly frustrated that they can't touch each other anymore.
Welcome to my house during lockdown.
Have you seen in Florida as well the judge who asked for lawyers to
get
dress up more, to get dressed for their Zoom meetings? There's no way that'd happen in the UK, is there? Because there's no way a barrister's pyjamas is going to be any more embarrassing than what they actually have to wear in this country.
I can't see everybody going back to sartorial life as they did before. It's all over now. I mean, turning your pants inside out is a laundry, isn't it? That's
yeah. I haven't worn anything without an elasticated waist for at least 3 weeks, and I think jeans are a thing of the past now.
Jeans are dead.
This is the news that Donald Trump has announced this week he would be removing the US funding from the World Health Organization despite being in the middle of a global pandemic, in a move akin to slashing his own tyres to punish a car that he just drove into a lake. 2 points to Desiree. Kerry, have a listen to this. Kerry, who's taking a victory lap?
This story is about a 99-year-old war veteran, isn't it? Captain Moore.
It is indeed.
Yeah, he's raised,
Tom Moore.
and it is a very heartwarming story in this climate. And he's raised millions for the NHS by doing sponsored laps of his garden. It's not really a good advert, is it, for how we're funding the NHS, this story? No, if we need a really old man to do a sponsored walk, we might look at how we're financing our health service.
Once all this is finished, you can sort of know what sort of funding you need. So if it's a summer and it's all right, and then Captain Tom Moore can just walk round a couple of 100 times around the garden. Then when it's winter and we need a bit more financing,
back out there.
He can put a bit of a trot on and go a bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, all this money.
We need some extra X-ray machines. Quicker!
Get out there!
I mean, the WHO needs 400 million right now. How big is that back garden? Like, can he do a marathon in it? Because
you can see why the media have run with this story, because it's meant to inspire sort of national unity and morale. But I think they might have sussed out that it is embarrassing for a developed state to have to resort to this. So there have been sightings of Dominic Raab's team in the Bedford area carrying a man-sized net and gaffer tape.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because the NHS is everyone's favourite. Like, you don't get anyone doing a fun run for the Department of Work and Pensions, do you?
We might now.
I do think, like, God love him, and I really think it's amazing what he's done. But part of me's like, stop showing us all up, mate. Like,
I know.
I've been to the kitchen in a week. Yes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Also, it's got a tiny bit of lockdown shaming, isn't it? Like, he's clearly smashing his lockdown. Because I was doing all right. I was quite happy just getting into embroidery. And now I feel like, unless I create something like the Bayeux Tapestry by Sunday, I've let the nation down.
It's a missed opportunity for all of us. You know, I've been doing that Joe Wicks workout for free like a mug.
I can't do the Joe Wicks workout anymore. I did it for about 10 minutes the other day and had to sit in a dark room listening to Adele to find my happy place again. I couldn't lift my arms.
Is it bad that when I first saw this story on the news about him marching around his garden, my main thought was that I was just really jealous of his garden?
Yeah.
Is that his house or is that a care home?
I mean, I probably should point out to anyone under 30 listening, a garden is what people used to have behind their houses, which they owned, right?
That's like a personal park. With other people.
This is 99-year-old Captain Tom Moore, who's raised over £18 million for the NHS by doing laps of his garden. I was quite shocked at first because in my house, 100 laps around the garden in Bedfordshire means something very rude indeed. 2 points to Kerry. Right, this is a question for everybody. Who is saying I don't?
Almost no one, because wedding rates have fallen. And the best thing about this story is not only are just fewer people getting married, but people are waiting until they're really quite old now to get married. The average age for men was 38 and for women it was 35.
All right, mate, I just want to point out, at this point, I'm getting married next year when I will be 45.
Yes, I love it.
Thank you very much. You know, I just feel... Yeah, and it's my first wedding. The amount of people... We've been planning a wedding. The amount of people who have assumed it's my second wedding... Damn it.
Well, I mean, who can afford to get married anymore? Aside from the cost of the thing itself, like, how can you afford to take on half of somebody else's debt at this time in your life? Like, no generations can do that. Like, when you fall in love with someone, you don't think, oh, one day I hope to live to take on half of their Topshop Klarna spending habit that to half of that student debt in the ethics degree that they got that never was going to pay off, and we all could have predicted that.
Are you having a big wedding, Angela?
God, no. No, they say the average wedding costs £20,000, which is absolute. If I've spent £20,000 on something, I want to be able to drive away in it. Do you know what I mean? I can't. And no, I'm not having a big wedding. This is the story that apparently young heterosexual people aren't getting married at the rate that they used to. I think this is great. I think, if anything, this is moving towards our UN mandated goal of eradicating hen-dos, and I'm all for it.
Yes. And it's just for the straight couples, the numbers are going down. The gay couple marriages are going up because obviously they're still in the honeymoon phase of being able to get married in the first place. And also, for once, they get to enjoy a trend that they did not have to invent themselves.
I never thought I would get married because, you know, I always had that, it's an archaic tradition, it treats women like little more than cattle, but then I weighed it up and I thought, bloody massive cake. So
I'll give you a cake,
roundabouts,
Angela.
I'll make a cake without getting married.
Yeah, but then it's filled with guilt as well. Like, it's righteous cake when you're married.
Did anyone see the woman who lost her battle with the sun about who she wasn't married to?
This is the chandelier woman.
This is Amanda Liberty, a woman in her mid-30s who apparently is in love with a chandelier.
She's only human.
Exactly. I have been very transfixed by some lamps in John Lewis before now.
Really?
Isn't the weirdest thing about it the fact that her surname is Liberty because she was previously in a relationship with the Statue of Liberty?
Yes, apparently.
Yeah. I mean,
apparently they've now split up, but she does still carry a torch.
Yes.
Come on.
Or was it that chandelier that fell down in Only Fools and Horses when...
Oh, imagine for her, that must have been like watching Watership Down for her, mustn't it? Poor love. Apparently she identifies as an objectum sexual, which I think is a Harry Potter spell.
I could only dream of a chandelier. I went out with a candle for 3 years.
Several weeks ago, we would have really made fun of this woman, but after 3 weeks of lockdown, I think falling in love with inanimate objects is probably something a lot of us can identify with right now, right?
I'm in a polyamorous relationship with my vape and a jar of Nutella right now, so I'm all about it.
This is the news that according to ONS figures released this week, the number of heterosexual weddings have gone down. Of course, millennials can no longer afford big weddings. Their weddings are more sort of something borrowed, something borrowed, something borrowed, and something borrowed. And that's 2 points to everyone. So that brings us to the end of round one, at which point Desiree and Kerry have 6 points, Mark and Helen have 2. Now, before we start round two, we have been sent this from Portsmouth News, which reads, the ferry service to Hayling Island has been suspended over virus concerns. The skipper said it was important to remain calm and we're all in the same boat. Thank you to Gary Dobison for sending that in. Okay, Helen. Helen, who is looking for the exit?
Well, pretty much everybody at this point, but particularly the government, who are being pressured to publish their plan for how we get out of lockdown. Keir Starmer, the new leader of the opposition, is very keen that they should give us some indication of what will finally trigger us this endless hellscape to be over. But there's been like a weird series of plans that, one of the ideas is we might have a regional lockdown, so London might have to stay locked down longer than everyone else, which would obviously please the rest of the country, which hates London and wants us to be unhappy. Everyone in Brighton, just cheering, basically, at that point. And then the other weird idea is that everybody aged 20 to 30 who doesn't live with their parents could get out first, which I was thinking about, and I thought, God, that's going to be like Logan's Run. And then I thought, unfortunately, knowing what Logan's Run is means I don't get to leave the house.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was like, no, I don't know what she's talking about.
I just suddenly thought that there's going to be, like, all those really overeager police forces who've been basically out sniping people because they've lingered for 1 minute having a cigarette on the corner. They can kind of go around and do spot checks and kind of like show a picture of H from Steps to people, and if you show a flicker of recognition, that's it, the drone gets you. They're going to absolutely love enforcing this.
I do think the problem with Keir Starmer asking them to reveal a lockdown exit strategy is that it assumes they've got one.
Yeah.
It's a bit like asking me to reveal my abs.
Exactly. I think it's asking for more transparency. I'm like, I used to be a children's entertainer, and I used to do it on a morning and have a hangover. And I'd say to the party at the beginning, in the spirit of transparency, I've got a hangover. So now we're going to play a game called Everybody Lie on the Floor and Shut Their Eyes. And the winner is the last one to move or talk. That is how I approach transparency.
That's Dominic Raab. You're there.
Yeah, we are. See?
That's him. I think this thing, and Keir Starmer, they're all doing it, and the journalists all do it. Now is not the time to criticise. What a peculiar outlook that is. Now is the time when we should ask questions about the Battle of Hastings and what went wrong there. It's just bonkers. No one's allowed to ask a question.
People saying we shouldn't hold governments to account are the same people that think now is a good time to have a protracted inquiry into the World Health Organization.
Yes, exactly. God, they're so bad. They got Matt Hancock said at one point. He said that the reason that the nurses haven't got the protective equipment is because they're using it too quickly. So it was their fault. I'm like, well, why not go in and tell all these other medical people what they're doing wrong as well? Go, oh, what are you doing with that liver transplant? You're using up too many anodines. It's just. And the care badge, you seen these badges he's got. We can't get you any protective equipment, but we have got these badges. And next week, if you're really, really good, we're going to give you a beer mat with an angel on it.
But the problem all stems from the fact they just don't want to tell anybody that they don't have, as you say, a plan.
Yeah,
and it might all go on until the end of next year. And literally no one wants to hear that.
Keir Starmer has said that this is to maintain morale, right? That we need to know what's coming next. But surely that's only going to maintain morale if it's what's coming next is good.
Yeah.
It's not going to help, is it? If what's next is that all your firstborn's going to be shot out of a cannon as a sacrifice to the plague gods. I think I can do without knowing that, Well,
although, there is an argument to be made for, it is better to know. When you're waiting for a train or a bus and it says due and then it says 35 minutes all of a sudden and you want to kill people, but then you're just like, okay, I'll make other plans. Even though it's terrible, it's just nice to know and not be going silently crazy,
I mean, it's not going to end overnight, is it? I think they are going to have to end this lockdown in stages, particularly for single people. They'll have to be let out in stages. Otherwise, if you release them all at once, they're going to have to turn NHS Nightingale into a maternity ward. This is sort of the first major act that Keir Starmer's done as leader of the Labour Party, isn't it? What do we think of it? I mean, this is the first time News Quiz has been on air since Keir Starmer's become leader of the Labour Party.
Yeah, also he did get that big leaked report on the Labour anti-Semitism scandal right in his first week as leader, which is a bit like someone leaving a huge dog turd on your doorstep, ringing the bell and running away.
It is. It's not. It isn't great to have to start a new job with an investigation focusing on your far left predecessor, but factional hostility towards Nish Kumar has to be addressed. And this is the news that Labour leader Keir Starmer has asked the government to lay a clear exit strategy for the current lockdown. Experts claim that talking about an exit strategy before the virus reaches its peak may confuse the public, who, to be fair, have only just got their head around how to spell furlough. 2 points to Helen. Mark, have a listen to this. Mark, who has a conspiracy theory?
Oh, there's a conspiracy theory for every news story, and this one now is that these people going, yes, well, I mean, there's these 5G people, right, and they've been set up by the Chinese, and they've caused the virus, and they're making us cough, and there isn't any virus, and everyone's in on it, and all the people who've had it are all just actors, and they're all just spitting and coughing, and they've all been told to do it by the Chinese minister of something, and they're mad, and they're burning down masks. And now the fact that I've said they're mad probably means that they'll come round here and say he's in on it. And
are you?
It's just, yes, I am. Yeah. Oh, but I don't know. This is just throwing up all sorts of people that just science to them is just all part of the conspiracy. I think some of the old people are. There's a bloke up the Co-op when I went there on my weekly shop, and he was sat outside there going, it's all made up, you know, he's all made up. He's telling everyone as they're queuing, in the old days, we were all right. He said, well, this is true. He said, when I was a kid, my mum sent me to school with chicken pox. I didn't care. What? That's not the same, you stupid old dingbat. There was one bloke I heard. I heard him on the radio on a phone in, and he went, I'm 83. I run a market stall. I don't see why I can't still go down there to the market stall. I'm fine. Look at me. And I thought, there's something about the way diseases work you haven't quite grasped. You are generally fine with a disease right up until the point when you get it. Before you've got it, you're generally fine. There are very few diseases that are so bad that they make you ill before you've even got it.
Who had to apologise this week?
Eamon Holmes did this really weird thing that everybody does now, where he says, well, the thing is, maybe the mainstream media doesn't want you to know about it. And you kind of thought, you're on ITV's flagship.
You can see his wife going, shut up, they pay the bills.
Yes. What does he think mainstream media? That's like me condemning female comedians from Kent with red hair for not showering more regularly. Like, what?
Was there a conspiracy theory around the other Gs, the 2G and the 3G and the 4G? They should have hung on for 666G, then it would have been a bit more...
Yeah. I do wonder that, like, what makes 5G so bad? Were the others bad, but we just didn't know? Like, 1 to 3G gave you bad morning breath, 4G was IBS, 5G global pandemic. Is that
quite
how it works? Did you hear what Kellyanne Conway said, the ex-press advisor for Trump, when she had to go at the World Health Organization for their poor response because, and this is a quote, she said, this is COVID-19, not COVID-1. Not realising there that it's been named after the year it was discovered, not that it's the 19th. Well, that's like saying, why isn't WD-40 better? They had 39 goes at it beforehand. You know.
All this is so based in the fact we just don't understand loads of stuff about the modern world. I was doing a TV thing once about 5G, and I suddenly realised before I went on air, what does the G stand for?
Oh,
God. Absolutely zero idea.
It stands for global pandemic.
This is the news that conspiracy theorists have been destroying 5G masts because they believe they are connected to the coronavirus. Now, the problem with these 5G conspiracies is they're just not wacky enough. I say bring back the Queen's a lizard, or Paul McCartney died in 1966, or the news quiz is a front for the Illuminati. Oh, no, wait, crap, forget I said that last one. 2 points to Mark. Before we take a look at the final scores, has anybody heard about what they've been up to in Belper in Derbyshire?
Oh, they're
What
moving.
haven't they been up to?
Let's have a listen.
It is the most British thing ever. You have to be told how to moo and when to moo. People aren't allowed to just freestyle moo willy-nilly.
Now, I think as this goes out live, first of all, on a Friday evening, and the Archers has been cancelled on Friday evenings for the global pandemic, I think we should all do the mooing together and really get the hopes up for Archers listeners. Only to be dashed when at 7 o'clock the Archers doesn't happen.
Count us in then, Angela. Count us in.
Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
So we just knew how to do it without being told.
Well, I really like the thought that in Belper, the local cows at 6:30 get together and do impressions of Belper residents. Every night at 6:30, they're leaning out of their sheds saying, I'm just popping out for my state-mandated exercise. So that brings us to the end of the news quiz, and the final scores are Desiree and Kerry have 6, Mark and Helen also have 6. Thanks to the panel.
Oh, friendship.
And to you, the listeners at home, if you have a story to share with us, do send us an email at newsquiz@bbc.co.uk. And with that, goodbye.
Taking part in the news quiz were Desiree Birch, Kerry Godleman, Helen Lewis and Mark Steele. In the chair was Angela Barnes, and the news was read by me, Neil Sleet. The chair's script was written by Ed Amsden, Catherine Brinkworth and Tom Coles, with additional material from Charlie Dinkin and Zoe Tomlin. The writer's room dogs were Tina and Louis. The producer was Susie Grant, and it was a BBC Studios production.